Hey everyone, and welcome back. It is Sunday. That means we're going to be doing our wonderful, ever so fun, The Last Heir, a Margreave-inspired D&D5E campaign that I'm doing with, look at, all of my players are here tonight! I am so excited. I'm very much looking forward to the fun we're going to be having, because it's been like how many weeks now? So we have a full deck, which means that we have everyone. And I can't wait to see what we're going to do with everyone, because, you know, I've been planning. So anyways, going to do what we always do. I'm going to go around. Everyone can introduce themselves. And if anyone has any special announcements they'd like to share with the community, do make sure to take the time to do so now. Once we go through that, we're going to start kicking back into gear and having some fun and seeing where everyone's going with our lovely progress in this campaign. So I'm going to start first with the ever-missed, but so glad to have you back, Gnome. You're up first, my friend.
Thank you. I am so sorry for not being here. Just life, and super excited to be back. My name is Gnome. I'm going to be playing Shreg, the Kobold. Wow, it's been a while. I'm a warlock.
Yeah.
I'm a clockwork warlock. Wow, it's been that long.
I'm not laughing at you. I just saw Jim.
No. Jim.
Sorry.
So good.
Jim, we'll get to Jim. Jim's a different story.
Oh yeah, this is just gonna be ballin'. But I do have an announcement on behalf of Kobold Press. Right now we have an amazing Kickstarter going on called Deep Magic. It is a compilation of over 600 spells for 5th edition. It is currently funded over like 500%. We're getting pretty close to 600% funded on it. Almost 2,000 backers. It funded in the first 90 minutes of the campaign, and basically it is a mass tome of the majority of spells from the Deep Magic collection that's been kind of pumping out over the past couple of years, usually in PDF form, maybe a couple spells from like Margreave or, you know, and other campaigns and stuff that have been out, but they are all getting put into one big book. It's over 300 pages long, and a really cool thing about it, if you back, you can actually submit a spell for consideration to be published in this book. And because of everybody's awesomeness and excitedness for the campaign, I'm super excited because I just want a big freaking magic spell book. There are 30 backers are going to have their spells picked after they've been culled over and play tested by, you know, kobolds behind the scene, and they're going to get published in the book. We have a whole bunch of other stretch goals that were funded. I'm going to quickly go over those real quick. Like I said, so we're already funded. We now have the Arcane Servants of Magic. So you'll have different types of servants. Familiars are included in this, so that's all going to be updated in there. Super stoked for that. 2 new magical backgrounds are now also introduced. So the Transformed Familiar and Fey Hostage, which is really freaking neat, and I kind of want to play them. We also now have the Raised Dead variants, which is going to be super awesome to see. And because we finally hit over the $100,000 stretch goal, again, we unlocked 30 backer-submitted spells, as well as Infernal Magic. Our next stretch goal, we have 2 new subclasses that are going to be introduced, and that's the Aristocratic Sorcerer and the Circle of Ancients for Druid. And that's at 125k, and we're almost there. So I'm going to post a link in chat. Go check it out. If you have any questions, just chat us up in the comment section over there. Oh, awesome. You're the best, Kai. Thank you so much.
On it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So back it today. Share it with your friends. The more people that back, the more opportunities of having backers submitted spells. Like we hope to maybe unlock at 40 and beyond, which would be super cool. So check it out.
So cool! Oh my god, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, so leaving us with that excitement, now we're going to jump over to Michael.
Hi, I'm Michael.
Your turn.
Not so excited.
Yeah, you got to follow up with that.
Anyway, Michael Ciclo II. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Michael Crits. I don't have much going on other than school and rock climbing. Got better at rock climbing over the weekend, so doing some 10C, 510C, and 510D to any people who climb. There's some numbers, cool. Excited to play Gervain today, who is my human courier of Wanderer, who is a ghost knight from the Kobold Press's Heroes of Margreave. So, super excited.
Yeah. And he's got this lovely new companion. Don't forget.
Yep. So actually, exciting. A little bit of excitement. Cool. Little Czar, who is big excitement, is
he's not little.
Is my little companion, who is basically a fine undead steed of small bobcat for small, big. Getting confused, but a big undead bobcat is like my little companion. So.
Yeah, little dire bobcat. Fits in your pocket if you were a giant. So. Awesome. Okay, shuffling over now to Torn Pixie.
Hi, I'm Torn Pixie, and I'm gonna be playing Aoel Galith, who is a Shadow Fae Warlock. If you're trying to find me, you can find me on Twitch and TikTok at Torn Pixie, and then you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Torn Pixie Twitch. No, this is not at all confusing for anybody.
No, not in the least. And tonight, did we say who you're playing?
Yeah, I started with that, I think.
You did? Oh, yes, you did. My apologies. I was getting sidetracked because of, well, let's get to it. Jim. Okay, Jim, you're up.
All right. So, hopefully you guys can hear me just fine. I lost something earlier today.
He just robbed a bank.
And I felt like that...
he robbed a bank.
I just robbed a bank, and I felt like I needed to do something about my appearance. The reason I robbed a bank is because I lost my beard. Ran away to get some money quick. I didn't want to freak everybody out immediately, so here I am. It's me. It's really me. And I was just informed that my toilet's running by my mother-in-law, so I might have to go take care of that. I'm going to be playing Slain. He's still paranoid. It's great. Deep Magic is awesome. So, yes, that's what I have to say. Looking forward to that. Ready to play.
Okay. Lovely. Wonderful. And moving along now to our Stonefly Kai.
Hey, I'm Stonefly Kai, _ Kai on pretty much any social media, and I am playing a Winterfolk Halfling Sword Dancer Fighter.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least in our roster of players, we have Jesse, our metal man.
My name is Jesse. You can be found at Twitter and stuff as @JesseNeon. I will be playing Maurice, the Polytheist Priest Cleric, which is a subdomain available from the Margreave Heroes book. And
Pantheist.
Yeah.
Pantheist.
That's about it. Pantheist. I'm calling it Polytheist for reasons. It's fine.
Well, I mean, it's a polytheist for reasons, but if they're going to look it up, it's Pantheist.
Yeah. Correct. I will eventually get those correct.
It's okay. It's all good. It's all good. And I am your DM for this evening. I am V Muse. I'm the crafting muse. You can find me over on YouTube where I show you how to paint miniatures, make miniature terrain, which I'm also making terrain for Kobold Press, and that's a whole different story. And one thing I want to mention is that right now I am hosting a very special giveaway. A good chunk of us are actually going to be at PAX Unplugged. Show of hand who's going to be there. I will be there. Just raise your hands. Raise your hands. So, PAX Unplugged, they actually reached out to me and they asked if I'd be willing to hold a giveaway where 5 lucky winners will each get 1 3-day pass should they win. So I'm going to put the link into the chat. You will need to go through and follow up on that one. There are many ways you can enter. And on November 1st at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will pull the winner and then announce the winner on my usual Friday morning live stream on my YouTube channel. So if you enter, good luck to you. And again, it is a full 3-day pass that you are eligible to win. Just make sure you follow the directions and enter. There are some restrictions. This is open to U.S. and Canadian residents only, except for Quebec, because you have hella weird gambling laws, as well as, believe it or not, Rhode Island. So link is going in the chat right now. And if you want to come to PAX Unplugged, the badge might be on PAX. So check that one out and you can enter to win. So that is pretty much our announcements for this evening. And now we're going to go into our usual who wants to get their 2 temporary HP for this game by kind of surmising what happened in the last one. Michael, your hand was up there right away. Go ahead.
All right,
go ahead.
So I'm going to try and get through this. So we had our, I guess, heroes or the party left off at the Grove, where we got to meet Finium and Gypsophilia, who are, from my understanding, part of the royalty or like the more higher echelon folks in the Grove. We finally got Maurice out of the bag of holding, and because he's kind of like a Gearforged guy, he didn't die inside of there because he doesn't have to breathe. Got him out. Gypsophilia helped us get some of the rust off of him, which has been plaguing him for the past couple of sessions. After we got him free, we kind of ascertained what we could do to help with the disease that's happening in the Grove, that's kind of taking over their Grove and making life more difficult for them. Through the conversation, we learned that it was happening near one of their shrines in the fields, and me, Maurice, and Ewil, and I believe that was us, yeah, and Zira. We all went to go inspect what's going on over there. Once we got there, Maurice was able to connect in a way with the shrine that's a shrine to Hulda, and he was able to communicate for a brief moment with Hulda, everything, time slowing down, getting some sort of vision from Hulda about perhaps a place where the disease is coming through the Grove. I believe Finium and myself and Ewil got taken to an armory where I had received a spear of a powerful spear of the Stilled Heart, and Ewil received, I believe it is called the Cull of the... Oh man, Cold Womb of the Trees. So, she got that. We got some items that helped. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, continuing on. We got some items that helped to bolster our players, and we all came back and met up at some sort of dinner or festivity. And actually, before the dinner, we tried to figure out a plan on what to do. We kind of came to a plan that we need to investigate some sort of water source, and that might be where the disease is coming to the Grove. Once we figured that out, we actually went to the party, dinner party, and we got to play around with like some of the residents and kids and got to eat our fill. And let's see. And we got to also meet, I think his name is Allium, who is like one of the inhabitants there of high regard. He has 14 points on his horns, and I think that's where we left off.
Yep, we pretty much we wrapped up with everyone sort of bedding down for the evening, and you had spent your first day in the Grove of Eternal Autumn and getting a sense of the layout of the land. Now, one thing that did happen is that you had Shreg and Slain basically deciding that they wanted to do a perimeter check, partly because both are still stuck in this slightly paranoid state of having passed through a certain area of the Margreave. So the two of them decided to go hiking around. We had the whole tall and small with Shreg in Slain's papoose. The last the four of you saw was Shreg and Slain walking out the longhouse front entryway. Slain kind of doing his quick wave goodbye, and Shreg waving over his shoulder, their shoulders enthusiastically as the doors closed behind them. So if you two are ready, we're going to have a little fun with our pair, with our duo. So as the two of you leave the longhouse, you see that there are still some inhabitants who are sort of off doing their own thing in the distance. You actually sort of backtrack the way you came with Cal. So you make your way back through that path over that bridge over the one stream that you now know sort of feeds into this lake that's off to the side of the longhouse area. And you go back down those switchback steps, and you're still underneath this gorgeous canopy of oranges and intense reds and fiery yellows. And at the time of day that it is right now, it's almost as if the forest itself has this golden glow to it. And really, it's just the light playing off of these various colors of leaves and everything like that. It just has this sense of warmth and being inviting and peaceful. And as you make your way, Slain, would you be trying to get to the full edge of the perimeter, or would you want to try and stick closer into sort of the interior or sort of the exterior with your ranger background?
I mean, definitely want to get... I'd like to get a good ways away from the perimeter just because... I'd like to get at least out of sight of it, if that's possible, and look for any disturbances there. Then he just,
so you want to stick... Okay, so kind of like split the difference and like take it in the midpoint around, because the grove itself is almost like this circle. It tucks up against the hills area. Why am I blanking out? The Black Hills. It tucks up, one side tucks up against the Black Hills, and then the rest of it sort of opens up into the eastern side of the Margreave. So you could very easily just sort of take a wandering path around the midpoint area. So it's almost like you're cutting the center of the grove and the exterior of the grove.
And we're sort of like north of Dead Druid's Run. Kinda.
Yes, you are north of you're north of the Dead Druid Run. You're basically tucked up where the foothills of the Black Hills start up. The grove tucks up right against those areas. And then it pretty much is just encased in the forest itself. So the river is a little ways off. It's not something you can quickly access. You have streams and just some natural water sources like that coming because of being so close to the mountains, having those come out and around. So the two of you can very easily just sort of... Go ahead.
Yeah. We'll do... Yeah,
right.
We'll sort of kind of split that middle distance and give a good slow walk around the perimeter just to see what we can see.
Okay. All right. So, Shreg, would you stay papoosed up in Slane's pack, or would you want to get down and walk with him?
I think honestly for the majority of the time, especially while they were paranoid, would probably stay on Slane's back and messing around with their dodecahedron as if just trying to calculate every potential misstep, Slane, don't step there. Don't step there. That'll end all of humanity. Like something like that. It just constantly.
Who's gonna be mad at me? Who's mad at me? I don't. Who? I'll fight them. Where are they?
I don't know. But if you go over there, you might make them angry.
Who's they? Are they here? Right now?
I don't know. Are they?
Slane will attempt to detect the presence of any otherworldly spirits and the like. If he needs to, he will tap into his Night Whisper ancestry.
Okay, if you would like to do that, let's give that a check. Why not?
This is the worst pair to be paranoid.
I love it.
Easily. Right. I rolled a 7. I don't know what I was rolling, but I got a 7. I hope to add some numbers to it. Let's see. My wisdom...
Insight.
Insight. Thank you. I'm not proficient in it, but I am... I got a... Wow. I got a hell of wisdom. 11 for my untrained
11.
insight.
11. All right. So... You, Slane, would know that the forest does have a tendency just to sort of have its own habit of murmuring every so often. It's very good at mimicry. It's very good at making sounds. And for those who aren't so familiar with the forest, they can be a little bit more agitated about it. They think that there are ghosts or things haunting them or people following them type of situation. But for you, this is sort of like, yeah, no, it's kind of what it does. Doesn't really faze you all that much.
Oh yeah. I mean, Shreg, you probably just heard the forest talking to you. I would ignore it unless it's give us all your gold, or don't go to sleep in this safe place. Like those kinds of things you want to ignore. Those are probably baddies, but otherwise, should be okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, I'm sorry I yelled at you the other day because I was really just not. We didn't sleep much, and I was conflicted over Henrietta, and what I was going to do with her, and I didn't mean to snap at you like that.
Slade, it's okay. I kind of knew that was going to happen. And it is because you weren't sleeping well. You should really maybe try to have like chamomile tea before you go to bed. That might help.
Yeah, I've been trying to get to bed before sunrise, because I think that it's really helpful if I get a good 4 hours sleep.
Oh yeah, that's a really good plan. We're good, buddy.
And Shrug will go ahead and kind of just wrap their arms, attempt to wrap their arms. I don't know how big your Trocan neck is there, but just kind of give you a back hug.
Appreciate it. And I'll have no.
You have it on my.
No,
my God.
Shrek, you mind if we take the lights down a bit? Because I think it'll be well. Don't freak out. But also, maybe we take the lights down a bit. Because it isn't dark, is it? Or it's like twilight, kind of.
It's it's sort of not quite lunchtime, but getting close. So the sun's up in the sky.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. I remember the golden light now. Okay. But Shrek, all right, I misunderstood. Yeah, maybe I should sleep more because I thought it was nighttime. All right. Let's
if you're tired now, you can take a nap.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe. Are you all right going on? I don't want you to have to go by yourself. Maybe Slane considers for a hot second about making some kind of sled that Shrek could pull him on, but I don't know. I'll just be all right. Coffee or something. And
we'll just spend the whole episode trying to build this mechanism.
Right. Maybe you're
You're dodecahedron.
Dodo Hadron.
The Dodo.
He's gonna go back to looking I'm sure on the way here he's seen other just sort of signs of what's around here, and he's just looking any big predators, anything that might be poking around is mostly what he's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I'd also like to look around as well.
Okay, so then let's do some investigations if you want to make sure you're taking more of the careful, methodical look into things, as opposed to just sort of a perusal.
He's taking his time mostly because he's just feeling like spending some time by himself with Shrek. All right, here we go.
And then, it's up to you guys if you want to roll dice, if you want to... Hey! All right, so for both of you, you are able to sort of pick up that the forest seems to look the way that Cal has described to you, like how it's supposed to look. It's very peaceful, it looks quite healthy and quite fine. There's no signs of any leaves falling, which is even something that you haven't noticed before in the other parts of the woods. Every so often you see a leaf fall or something like that, but in this one, it's all quite fine and staying attached and everything like that. You see that there are footpaths, evidence of animals wandering around. In fact, you see a small little white bunny rabbit kind of sitting at the edge, sitting there, its nose wiggling up and down, and it kind of tilts its head at the two of you. And does Shrek wiggle their nose back?
Attempting to wiggle their nose, but it's the whole face.
Okay. Okay, give me. Oh, okay. Yes, give me a performance. Give me a performance.
Oh my.
Oh, okay.
I'll take a 22.
So
it's AF.
Yeah. So Shrek, they sort of wiggle their nose up and down as best they can based on their physiology. And the bunny actually sort of stands up on its haunches, and its one ear flops down, and it wiggles its nose almost in like a pattern, and then seems to look at you expectantly.
Oh no, a pattern. Shit. Could I...
Do you try to mimic the pattern?
I would like to just, Yeah, that is something that I feel like Shreg is innately aware of because of Rava.
Yep.
It's very
Yep.
important.
Okay. So
what do you want me to
let's
roll?
do.
What would that be?
Oh, that's what I'm thinking. Let's do another performance.
Oh.
Okay.
16.
All right. So with a 16, you're able to get it. You might have stuttered slightly at the beginning, but then, again, because you're one who's more keyed into this whole pattern factor, you sort of start, but then you stop yourself, and then you go again and you hit it successfully. And you'll see that this bunny, once again, just sort of tilts its head the opposite direction, and the ears switch, and it sort of hops a few hops in front of the two of you, and then looks over its shoulder expectantly at you, Shreg.
Slain? I think this is a friend. I think they want us to follow.
You're muted.
I think
Slang.
you're muted. I didn't know if it was
You're
me.
muted.
I'm muted.
It looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah. You say that like one shrink. You got to be really careful about that because you don't know where that is or where that came from. That could be like a fairy lure, or it could that whole tree stump underneath it could be a monster. Like, what is it doing?
It wants us to follow it.
Oh man, all right. Okay, all right. Let's be careful.
Okay.
And I'll try to like wiggle my nose, like try to indicate, that okay, we're gonna follow.
Okay. So
Slane's pretty wary. I don't know what. He's just like a bunny come out of nowhere like this. Whoa.
Okay. So Bunny's going to hop a little bit ahead of you two. And since Shreg, you are still in the papoose, Slane, you're sort of the one taking the lead in terms of pace. Do you try to stay close to this rabbit or enough to keep it in sight, but sort of duck away if needed? How do you want to keep after the little helpity?
I would like Slane would just sort of have the most direct, but also like not quick. He wants to keep some distance between it and them.
Okay. All right. So let's say you're probably like 15 feet between the two of you then. This small white rabbit keeps hopping, and it seems pretty secure that you are going to be following it. It just keeps going. It hasn't really looked over its shoulder every so often. And as you're going through, you notice that the forest still seems to have this, quality that you've noticed before. And then suddenly this rabbit is going to stop. And again, it's going to go up onto its haunches. And you see both of its ears. Now, you're seeing this from behind. You see both of its ears perk straight up. And it almost seems to freeze in place, staring straight ahead of it. And where it is looking, it's actually sort of curvature in the footpath. So you can't quite see in yet because of your being 15 feet behind it. But you can tell it's almost like those when the animals come to a point where they're not sure if they want to cross over or enter into a place. It's taken on this stance where it's apprehensive and timid suddenly, as opposed to wanting to keep going forward like it has been with the two of you.
What do you think it is? And I think I am. If I can't see it, then Slane is going to. He's going to open up his senses a bit and cast Bloodhound. And I'm thinking he has to I don't know, some sort of herbal tincture or something that he has to prepare for this.
Okay.
But it's like very pungent. Maybe like it's got menthol or something. It's like very pungent. Really opens him up and just clears out his
Like
sinuses.
a eucalyptus?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like maybe like almost an oil that he has to rub or something. So this is Bloodhound from Tales of the Margreave, the Player's Guide to the Margreave. 8 hours, no concentration, and any creature I touch has advantage on perception checks that rely on smell and can follow tracks with survival. Basically, I guess it's like keen sense of smell.
Yeah.
I don't really see what he can smell.
Okay. All right. So, as you're
What's
sniffing,
up there, bunny rabbit?
You're gonna
Yes.
roll for me with advantage.
Yes, let's see. There's like
Let's do perception.
50 million distractions. The curse of the tabs. Let's see, that's a 9 plus. Oh, that's going to be nice. A 17. And then if it's. Well, sorry, it factors in my ranger stuff. So, second roll is a. 15 was 9. So, that's going to be what, 23?
Yeah, you can almost smell at that roll. So you start to sniff the air, almost in the way the bunny is sort of sniffing as well. You see this bunny's, if you could see the bunny's face, because again, its back is towards you, its nose has been going a mile a minute, and you start to smell it as well. And for you, it's actually a scent that is recently familiar for you. You realize that it reminds you a great deal of that beast you ended up fighting at your campsite earlier before. And you do vividly remember Cal mentioning how the weapons that had been stuck in the upper portion of the basically Giant Daddy Longlegs had come from his clan. So you're getting that scent again.
Okay.
And it's getting more, it's something where it's not pungent, it's not like it's recently been there, but it's probably been within the past day or so.
Okay, so not like it's right around the bend, but it's, I don't know, it might be, it's either the one that tracked us, if it's like sort of the same vicinity, or like a pair. Is there a tree that's taller than one of them I could climb up?
You have there's trees on either side of the footpath, so you could very easily climb up a tree if you wanted to.
And they're all taller than that spider that we. Because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see if I can get maybe above where it might be, and see if I can look down.
Yeah, sure. If you want to do like a canopy check.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do
If you're-
athletics then. Do an athletics.
If you're climbing up,
Hang on, Shrek.
I'm gonna stay down, so you can.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, he'll take off all his gear and just go claws and tree.
Okay. So
I don't think he has a climb speed. So.
I don't think he does. So we'll do kind of like how we treated it before. Let's.
Can I, as you climb up, Shreg is just gonna like see what finally like click what you're doing, and kind of mess around with some of the little gears and levers. It's really at this point it's just like a big confusing Rubik's cube, and it glows a little bit in their hand, and you just kind of like they kind of reach out and touch your arm, and I'm gonna cast guidance on you.
Nice.
Ooh,
All right.
nicely,
That.
nicely done.
You get a D4.
Nice.
That's perfect.
All right.
Okay, so let's do it this way. If you give me the athletics check, if you get over 15, you're able to climb that tree no problem. If you get over a 10, we'll get you halfway up.
Yeah, I got a 16 on my die rolls. That makes it in 20 total.
Okay, perfect. So this is your element. You have been climbing trees since you were as high as your grandmother's knee. So up you go, your tree of choice. And you basically get as high as you possibly can physically on the tree before the tree starts to sort of do that, telltale creak that maybe your trollkin size is not the best thing to go beyond this point. But it does get you into the upper echelon of the canopies, for sure.
All right.
And you can get a good view of sort of, So
He'll stay up there.
now that
for
you're
a
up
good
there.
while and just get a good lay of the land.
Okay. So while you're up there, let's you're giving this a careful inspection then, or are you gonna just do a quick look around? You're gonna stay up there for all you said?
I'd like to stay up there for a while. Even if I have to yell down to Shrek to just, hang tight. I just want to get a good lay of the land. And he's gonna stay up there for as long as he thinks the branches will hold him.
Okay, so then
I
give me an
know
insight
you'd
check
say
while
to
you're-
hang tight.
Tight.
Shrek's gonna go towards yeah.
Okay.
And just immediately go scamper towards the rabbit.
Yeah. Okay, so so you go scampering towards this rabbit, and the rabbit actually is still staying in its spot. Again, this is a pure white rabbit, which, considering the forest, is rather interesting. It's not something that would blend in very easily. and it's just sort of sitting there, and you can tell that it knows you're there, but it's still staring straight ahead just beyond that curve. It's not going through that curved area, but it's just sort of... What would you like to do with the bunny?
I think I want to get a little closer, like, to its level, so just kind of, like, squat right next to it.
Okay. Animal handling check, then. You want to play with the rabbit?
I don't know. Play with the rabbit. It's level 12.
Well, I mean... Okay, so... I kind of almost picture this where they're sort of on... Like, you're not quite kneeling, but you're not quite crawling, so it's almost like you're doing, like, this squatting walk towards them.
Yeah.
Like, to get lower
It's
to
like
their
a
level.
duck.
So it's like you're using their tail as sort of like a balance, and this awkward waddling towards the rabbit. And the rabbit will sort of turn its head and look at you, and you see its nose sort of, do its up and down wiggle. And it almost cocks its head like, what the hell are you doing? But it doesn't race away from you. It just seems more puzzled by your approach.
Okay.
But if you get a little bit closer to it, you haven't scared it away.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Mhm. If I can, like, as I kind of just want to, like, again, holding the dodecahedron, just very carefully and slowly, with a little, like, tick, 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 tick kind of noise coming from it, cast Detect Magic.
Okay. Lovely. So, what does it look like as you cast Detect Magic?
So this is one of those very specific, like, warlock invocations, and I think instead of the magic, which usually comes purely through the dodecahedron, I almost feel like it emanates first from Shreg's fingertips and then into the dodecahedron, and almost like a little, like, sonar kind of blast, just like whoom, in the appropriate radius.
All right, so as you cast this, and there's this reverberation that sort of emanates from you out into the forest itself, it's almost like the impact of it has sort of a breeze-like quality to it. So you see the leaves stir as this is emerging from you. You also see the fur on the bunny also sort of as if it were caught in a breeze. It's moving in the wind, but more in your spell than anything else. And the forest itself sort of starts to take on a more intense glow. All the trees and everything around it. And it has been said that this is a magical forest itself. So it starts to glow a little bit, but what's interesting is that this rabbit is also very much glowing in front of you. And it's almost got like these wisps of, not smoke, more like a mist that is its magic emanating from it. And you can almost swear you can see these little rune-like symbols in this mist emanating from this magical rabbit.
Okay. I'm going to kind of, like, backtrack a couple steps, still just awkwardly waddling, squatting backwards. Try not to startle it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And kind of, like, look back towards Slain.
Be like, Slade!
It's Slane's all the way to the top of the tree. As you do this, the bunny's actually going to turn to you. Yeah, the bunny actually is intrigued by your retreat. It's going to turn around and it's going to hop towards you. Do you still have your dodecahedron out?
I do, yes. Like, because I'm trying to, like, not make super sudden movements.
Okay, so this bunny rabbit, it hops up to you and it looks at you, and you see it has these very intelligent looking eyes staring back at you, and it places both of its paws on top of your dodecahedron, and again it tips its head and looks at you, and it just does a quick tap on top of the dodecahedron, and then it disappears in a puff of the mist, leaving behind a swirl with these small runes sort of dancing within it, and a spinning gear as it disappears.
What's going on down there?
I didn't do it, I swear!
Didn't do what's I mean I don't even know what happened.
I'm gonna
Alright, so
hide the dodecahedron and scramble backwards
I'm sorry.
towards the tree.
The mom in me right now is ready to go like, what did you do?
I didn't do it!
Motherhood activated. So, Elaine, while this was going on, you were able to sort of get a good feel of what's going on in this section of the forest where you're staring. You do see that bend in the footpath, and you notice that there seems to be almost these pockets in the top of the canopy that seems out of place from what you're noticing from the rest of the forest area. So it seems as almost like something has happened in this section of the forest for sure, around that bend where the rabbit refused to go. And then suddenly you start to hear Shreg calling up, I didn't do it!
Yeah. Okay. Shrek, slow down. There's some weird stuff going on up here. Where's that rabbit go?
I don't know.
I can't even squeak that high.
Okay. All right. I'm coming down in a minute. And he's just going to make a mental note, like, of where these patches are, and see if he can't find where they are on the ground.
Okay.
As well.
It was literally, you could tell it was like just beyond that curve. Yeah, it would have been just beyond that curve where you're currently standing, where the rabbit would go forward. It was clear as day for you seeing those pockets.
Let's find that rabbit and see what it wants. I'll walk around.
So down you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're back down the tree. You're with Shreg.
Yep. And
okay. So Shreg, you have
just start
back in front of you.
First one.
Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to have it where you have basically started to walk around. Shreg, you are looking around for this rabbit who just seems to have literally disappeared in a puff of smoke. But what's sticking with you is that whole gear that seemed to fade, be the last thing to fade, even after the runes themselves sort of dissipated in the magical light. And as the two of you take this turn in the bend, for you, Slain, God, the two of you with your S names, for you, Slain, you're going to find that scent of the Goliath Longlegs, it's not that it's growing more intense because it's there, but you can tell that you're getting closer to the residual source of where it must have been.
Gotcha.
And as you take that turn, you come into a portion of the forest, and right away you can tell that this is not at all what you are used to seeing in this particular forest. It almost seems it's been altered, and there's actually a good number of trees that have been felled. You can tell that the trunks have been snapped, and you can see that there is pretty much destruction here and there. There are arrows that are stuck in stumps. There are hand axes as well that are deeply lodged. It almost seems like they've been just abandoned. And from what you're able to take in of this general area, this definitely must have been where it was mentioned that this creature had come and invaded and made its way into the grove. Because Cal had said how the concern is, if this came from the grove, this is unusual because normally the grove is a very safe, very encapsulated spot of the forest.
Right. This is where they fought it.
So you have
the Alcides.
Yeah, it looks like this is where the Alcides had been fighting this particular monster, and you can actually see its egress out of the forest where it must have made its retreat and then made its way down the river towards you.
Okay, so can I backtrack it from where it invaded and see if I can follow its path out of the forest?
Sure, if you want to.
Yeah, and I might, depending on, if it looks like it's going to be a while or if we're really far away from the camp, I might send Noname back. Unless, Shreg, you want to go. What do you think,
at this point, you're
how
probably
weird.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh yeah,
I was
with how weird
out.
the. Yeah, Shrug would stay with you. They would not let you be out here alone.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I sure should be fine, but I sure would like the company. And then I'll ask Noname, you mind going to get the others? Maybe we can at least figure out where this thing came from.
Okay. So Noname will, do its little dancing green light thing. And it almost as if its light doesn't dim completely. It doesn't dim completely ever. But it shrinks itself down, and it sort of uses the shrinking and then zooms itself back towards where you've come, as if that shrinking down and then pushing itself forward is helping it travel faster. It does understand that there's some urgency to this as well. So now that you have sort of found the source of where this Goliath had come in and started to try and attack the Carnelian clan, you want to try and make your way out through where it had escaped, is what you're thinking?
Yeah. At the very least, see if I can find it and wait on the others, or see if I'll wait on the others.
All right. Now this is basically the same day. They have been doing other things, so it's not that they're going to be coming to your aid. So you're running a parallel quest right now.
Gotcha.
So as you start to make your way, so as you're trying to make your way sort of back out to the edge of the grove, I would like you to, each of you, give me a perception at this point.
Plus. Wow, that's 27.
Oh.
Hey,
natty
look at
20,
both.
so 21 totes.
Lovely. Okay, so you both see everything. No, I'm kidding. So as you're starting to make your way out, before you're sort of even making your way out of this area that's been under attack, you both hear this unusual, it's not like it's a rustling sound, it's almost like a chittering sound coming from the edge of where the clearing where you just were, the newly made clearing. You hear this odd chittering sound coming from sort of a darker area of the woods. And this is probably the first time you've noticed that this is a darker area of the wood, too, because the wood is normally very illuminated by its colors in the shining sun. This seems to be a little more darkened and gloomy. And it's actually not having that same calm, peaceful sensation.
I'm going to take... I have my spear ready and approach. Is it a chittering like a chipmunk or a chittering like a 50s atomic horror movie spider?
You're right.
There you go. There we go. Yeah, definitely going with definitely going with the spear. Spring it.
I can do that all that, folks.
Welcome to a new ASMR horror stream.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's
golly. You're welcome. Enjoy.
All right. So yeah, I'll start poking around in there.
Okay.
Literally.
So as you're actually poking around. What are you poking into?
So there's like this dark space, right? It's like under the roots of a tree or something, or
yeah, it's basically you've had a few trees who have been upended, so you see like this very old root system. Right. So you have the soil and you have these intertwining roots that spanned out, and there's actually a few of them. So it's almost created like this cluster of sort of a underpass now, because you have the roots connecting together from how it's fallen, and it's just gotten it's like this darker zone now because of these trees, and a few have fallen on the other side, so you have the leaves and everything, so it's almost like it's created a bizarre hut.
So you know how when you're trying to get like a roach or something out from under a couch and you just sort of like kick it, trying to scare it, and but you're also kind of anticipating it gonna run out and jump in your face. That's kind of how Slade's like. He's gonna take his spear and try to just rustle it, see if there's a web he can shake it out of, and hopefully not have it leap at him.
I think every time that you do that, like Shreg jumps. Like Shrek's pretty close to you, like maybe has like their mace out, like like a back-to-back sort of thing. But then you make like a really loud noise. It's like
Okay. So as you're stabbing into this darkened enclosure, you hear the sound, and you suddenly see these glowing red eyes that are actually coming from inside this darkness area. And you see 6 sets of them.
Oh, nice. All right. I will stab
Did you
it
lose
first
Mom?
one I see. Oh, I think so. I think looks like he's frozen up.
No, you still there, bud? Nope. Oh, we can
I'm
hear you.
here.
We can hear you. You're there. Okay, lovely. Just
Okay.
making sure because your screen froze. Okay,
Oh,
so if
okay,
you're going to start taking action, I would like the 2 of you to roll for initiative, please.
okay. I'm gonna roll for initiative and then flip refresh.
Okay.
I got a 20.
You got a 20. Okay. So did they.
16.
Okay.
16 decks.
So they're actually, once I throw in there, they go first. So the chitterers, we'll call them now, they go first, then it's Slain, and then, oh, that's right, I have to write your names out because the 2 S's, Slain and Shreg. So, having poked your spear into sort of this encapsulated, darkened room, natural room from this tree trunk, from the tree roots and everything, you start to hear like this sound that seems to be coming from all different directions, but you notice that these 6 set of eyes, they're sort of coming from different areas in this darkness, and they're converging in the center of the darkened area itself. So you have these 6 glowing sets just sort of staring at you. Even the one that was closest to you almost did like a retreat thing back to the other 5. And right now you can't see too much of them, except you can tell that from the height where their eyes are stationed, they're about the same height as Shreg. And they've definitely clustered together. You can sort of see like this dim outline of them. And it's this dim outline of them. And you sort of see the heads seem almost bulbous from the outline. And you're not sure if it's a hat or if it might be hair, but there's this shoot of something from the top of the silhouetted heads.
Oh.
So now you're hearing the chittering is picking up because there's more of them now doing it, and they're all staring intensely at you. And so that's going to be their action gathering together. So that brings you up to date now. Slain, it is your Slain, it is your turn now.
And they haven't attacked.
They haven't attacked. They have actually tried to get closer together. So they've pulled in. This area is probably about a 30-foot circumference with all these trees, the roots and the treetops clustered together. So you have about a 30-foot, let's say, circle, and they've pulled themselves into the center of the circle itself in sort of a defense tactic mode.
Well, that's kind of weird of you to do. I figured you would have jumped out of my face and attacked me. Question: are there any webs around here? Like, is it just those overhanging branches? Roots?
There wouldn't be webs. There's sort of like this thin, interwoven connection of finer root systems hanging from the thicker root systems, but there's no webs. There's nothing insectoid about it.
All right.
If that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, sort of like yeah. My gut says that they're maybe not a threat, and like that we might have stepped into something that we don't understand more than it's not a threat. But at the same time, there are giant spiders around here trying to get us. So,
okay.
If y'all haven't seen any big spiders around here that made this mess, unless you're about to form a big spider, Slane's going to hold his action. If they attack, he'll jump in with a spear. But he has a hunch, that, given like the weird thing and how they're acting, that they're not a threat. They're something else.
Okay.
At the very least, he's curious and prone to doing short-sighted things.
Okay, so then we're bringing it up to Shreg. It is their turn.
Ooh.
I don't know, with all of the jittering and the weirdness, I think Shrek is gonna panic, especially after just coming off of being super paranoid.
Yeah.
There's just too much, like, all over the place, and, like, Shrek's
And
just, like,
there's
quickly flipping around. And
Okay.
Shrek is going to emit from the dodecahedron this sound. It's just like this really low, almost like white noise hum,
Ooh,
and cast sleep.
Cast sleep. Okay, very interesting.
Second level? I don't know. I only have second level slots.
Okay, let's see what you get.
Warlocks are weird.
Weird.
Alrighty. So that is 24 HP.
24
worth of
HP?
creatures. Yep.
Okay.
So the lowest
So
level,
as
if
okay.
it hits or not for them.
Yep. So as you cast this out, you see that two sets of these eyes, one wavers a little bit, but one you just see the eyes sort of like its eyes must have closed, and you hear this as a body hits the ground. But the others are still standing, so you have the 5 sets of eyes staring back at you.
Okay. And I just kind of like tuck behind Slay.
Yeah. So it'll be all right. It'll
Okay.
be all right. Either if they attack, we'll be ready for them.
Okay. So as you say this, you see 2 of them turn their attention to where the kathunk happened. And the other 3 basically focus directly upon the 2 of you. And you see and you hear this horrible hissing sound as these eyes come charging toward you. And as they come charging toward you, you see these odd little creatures where if you didn't know better, you would think they were onions, except they have these bodies attached to them. But they have these rather large gaping mouths with sharp pin-pointed teeth and these intense bloodshot red glowing eyes and these extended claws coming from their hands, which are very evident because they are coming towards you ready to swipe. So 2 are going to go after Slain, 1 is going to go after Shreg. So let me see here. Would a
AC 15.
Would a 14 hit you, Slain?
No, 14 will not hit me.
No. So 14 misses. Would a 24 hit?
Oh yes, 24 will hit.
Okay. So 24 hits. So what happens with you, Slain, this one starts coming towards you, and you manage to dodge out of the way as you see this hand with these long extended claws come raking towards you, but it just misses you by a narrow inch. And this thing sort of goes tumbling off to the side, but it quickly regains its footing and stares back at you again, hissing, and you see these teeth showing off and the eyes glowing this very intense blood red color. However, the second one, because you've turned your head to go and look at the first one that's attacked, it manages to catch you, and it does a slashing motion against your thigh, and it is going to do 4 points slashing damage on you. And
All right.
basically sort of do this slash and then look up at you, and again you get this hissing sound, and this third one is going to go towards Shreg and does a 20 hit.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh god, yeah, yes indeed it does. And you will be taking as well 6 points of damage, slashing damage, as this one comes charging towards you, and it's almost as if it's going towards you with both claws, but because it has the same height thing, it's able to do this downswing, and it quickly catches you, and it sort of grazes you across your shoulder as it engages with you. So, they're not friendly, folks! What would the 2 of you like to do?
Right.
Slain, you are up.
All right. Well, okay. Goodness, these things are onions. And
Onions.
he is gonna
Onions.
just stab at them.
Okay.
Slice and dice.
And yeah, first one. Let's see. That is going to be does a 15 hit.
15 absolutely will hit.
All right. And I'll use a spear. Let's see. Oh, it's going to be 7 damage from that. And I don't think I have anything else. Actually, yeah, I think that's it for me.
Okay, so you attack just the one who was sort of right in front of you then?
Yeah, the one that bit me.
Okay. The one that got you. All right, so the one that slashed at you, okay, took some damage, and you see that it's not happy about that. And what type of damage was it again, please?
Piercing.
Did you just do piercing? Okay. So it definitely does some damage to it. You actually kind of notice it's not as much as you had hoped, though. So it did take on some, but it almost seems to sort of shake it off a little bit, much to your surprise.
All right. In that case, if that's the case, I'd like to drop my spear and grab my hatchet. That's sort of my last thing I do.
Okay. I'm just like
hatchet.
We're getting close to Howard. Yeah. Okay, not a problem at all. Shreg, that takes us to you now.
Okay, having been hit and things hurt, this is awful. But also seeing that Slain is also getting kind of scuffed up, Shreg is going to pull out their mace and just take a big old swing right at the little dude that just attacked them. Mace attack.
Okay.
There we go. I clicked it. That's a 20.
Absolutely will hit.
Okay. So 7 bludgeoning.
7 bludgeoning. Okay. And this is just a standard mace, right?
Yep. Just
that you possess?
Standard old mace. That I possess.
Standard old mace. So same thing for you. So you managed to hit this upside the head, and again, because it's so close to you, it's sort of like, boom, and its head sort of flips to the side very quickly. And you see it turn its head back around and almost taunts you as it sort of licks this little rivulet of what you're hoping is blood, except it's almost like this dark black ichor quality to it as it licks the side and pulls its tongue back in, and its eyes glow this intense, continued, almost bloodshot red as it stares down at you.
Oh, Slain, this isn't good.
No, I think they probably are possessed by some. Look at the way their eyes go, and they're just onion people. How could they be so tough?
I mean, you get the right onion. Okay.
We'll see about making them cry.
All right, so that brings us back up to the top where we still have the other two who are more concerned over their sleeping comrade, if you will. And then the one that swung and missed at you, Slain, is going to try to come back in and catch you. Actually, let me grab a couple more of my D20s and streamline this if we could, folks. That would be great. All right, so we're going to have it where... All right, this one is not doing well. So the one that tried to attack you and completely missed, again, it comes charging, and it's almost digging its claws into the ground, and you can hear the soil kicking up behind it. And it does this leaping jump towards you and tries to slash, but again, you're quickly able to dodge out of the way, and this thing goes tumbling back actually closer to where its other 3 comrades are, and it sort of shakes its head in a daze, and it stares up at you, and you can tell it's not happy, but it could not make contact with you. As this is happening, Shreg, the one that just tried to attack you, does a 9 hit.
Nope.
Shreg.
Nope.
Okay, so same for you. It's trying to attack you, but it watches its companion go tumbling, and its claw attack seems to fail as well. And then finally, will a 15 hit you, Shreg? Or not Shreg, Slain, the one that was just attacking your thigh. Okay,
yeah,
so it goes to do another swing, and this time it is going to give you 4 points piercing.
Right.
So it's actually going to swing for the other leg with the other claw and cut across. And the other 2 are actually going to assist and help the other one who sort of fell and lift them up again, and that's going to be their action, getting their other companion who sort of missed the mark and went tumbling. They're leaving the other one asleep, however. And now it's back to you, Slain.
All right, I will use my bonus action to cast Bleed on my hatchet, and so that'll cause the hatchet to do an extra D4, and every time it hits, they will need to make a Constitution save or take 1 bleeding wound, which just does an extra 1 damage.
Okay.
So that's what I've got for that.
And this is the
roll
one that
attack
you got
first.
out of the long legs, right? The +1, right?
Yes.
That new axe?
Yeah. And was it,
Okay.
the new axe, the maple leaf axe. Now, is that +1 to hit and damage, or just damage?
Both. It's magical.
Oh, okay. I need to adjust my character sheet then. All right.
Okay.
So that's going to be, let's see, maybe not. 12 hit them?
A 12 will hit, yeah.
Or 12, that's awesome. All right.
That is
A
amazing.
12 will just hit.
Awesome. All right. Well, in that case, it's going to take 11 slashing damage. Or I guess,
Okay,
so actually, it's going to be 7 slashing and 4 necrotic. Sorry.
Okay. So you said how much slashing?
7
Seven?
slashing and 4 necrotic.
Okay. So you see that the slashing is definitely effective. You've chopped into, essentially, this creature, and you can see the layers of its skin sort of peeling itself back and feathering away as you make this contact, and it definitely has taken on some serious damage. However, it seems that necrotic has done nothing to it. It's almost like it's shaken that aspect of it off. But it is wounded. It is not looking too great. Then Shreg, you are up. Unless, do you have anything else, Slain?
No, that was my action and bonus. It's good.
Okay. Okay, so then, Shreg, it is your turn.
Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and the one that is still there. Big swing with the mace. One more time. That's an 18.
Oh, that's gonna hit. Yeah, that's a hit.
Yeah. So for 5 bludgeoning.
5 bludgeoning. Okay, so same thing. You see that it's doing some damage, not as much as you had hoped it would, but it's standing there a little bit dazed and confused at this point. So you're starting to make some headway with them. And as this is happening, you see that the two have picked up their companion and they're starting to retreat. And they're pulling them further and further into the darker recesses of these old tree branches and these tree roots that have come up from this damage that has been done from the previous Goliath Longlegs. And the third one, who kept trying to attack you, Slain, is also sort of, they have their claws up and they're facing you, so it's almost like the two are dragging the one away, and this other one has taken it upon themselves to sort of act as protector to make sure nothing happens as they retreat, and he's walking backwards with them. The other two who are still left in front of you, one in front of Shreg, one in front of Slain, they sort of look at each other and they do this hissing thing again, and they jump forward towards you, and you get a very good look at them, and you see that they are very much these little onion people with these crazy blood red eyes, and it's almost as if the closer they get to you, their teeth are sort of extending a little bit, and the claws are again sharpened to a fine point. But instead of doing any attack against you, they actually quickly retreat after doing this threatening hiss, and they go back into the darkness, and you hear that get softer and softer and softer as they make their retreat. Do you try to go after them?
I think you're.
Oh, you're muted, darling. You're muted, Eugene. Ah!
Yeah, there we go. So it's in the way of their where the Longlegs came through, right? Like we'd have to pass through this section of forest to follow the trail.
You wouldn't have to go through this section. This is sort of like this impromptu little underground hut that's been created because of the felled trees and everything. You could easily go back out and around and make your way out of the forest if you wanted to. But, you know, it's up to you if you want to keep pursuing them, but they have clearly realized that this is not where they want to be, and they're trying to make a hasty retreat at this point.
I think we should follow them and just at the very least see what's up, because they don't seem like they're acting normal. Like, did you see those fangs? And, like, did one of them have like, weird, like, demon blood or something?
Okay, so Slain, being familiar with the forest, give me a nature check, since you are Margreavian.
Yeah, let's see how that goes. Nature is going to be That's a 9.
It's a 9.
It's a 9. Yeah.
9? So, with a 9, you vaguely remember the grandmothers talking about these strange people in the forest called Alliamites, but you remember they were supposed to be peaceful. Beyond that, you don't recall much, but they weren't supposed to be the type who'd attack. If anything, they'd be more the type who'd want to help with your garden, based upon the lore that your grandmothers raised you with.
Yeah, maybe just too many people put them in stews or something. All right, I think we should go find out what's wrong with them, because maybe if we find what's wrong with them, we'll find out what's wrong with the grove.
Okay. All right.
What if we get the others, though? What if there's
no, I'll be back
scarier?
pretty soon. Like,
So while the two of you are talking, I'd like you each to give me a quick perception check.
23.
9.
Oh, what was that? Hold on. Not another 9 and
9.
9.
20,
Jim, what you get?
23 unless it relies on smell. 23 unless it relies on smell, in which case roll advantage.
No, it does not. So as you're about to go and follow these creatures, Slain, you're going to notice that there is this, not skittering like before, but there's almost like this like quick thumping sound behind you. And as you turn around, you see that this white rabbit has returned. And it's looking at the two of you a little concerned and a little bit more frantic than its initial demeanor. Yeah, very much you're getting this sign of like, don't continue forward.
Is it like, how bad will it be, rabbit?
You're asking the rabbit? I'm sorry. The trollkin bending over like, how's it going to be, Barrett? You just see this rabbit sort of like... The rabbit's actually going to cock its head and look at you, and then kind of look at Shrek like, is he kidding? And looks at you again, and it actually is starting to sort of try to hop its way back into the lit part of the grove where things are more golden and glowing again.
Oh, you don't want us in the dark part of this. I'm fine with the dark though, rabbit. It's okay. Like, I see why you'd be afraid of it, but I think I'll be okay. You know.
It's gonna turn, and like that, the foot really starts thumping vehemently this time.
Can I run towards it?
I gotta give this
Because I want to try to like just hug it, like pick it up and hug it. But like this look of relief on Shreg's face. Totally not caring now about the darkness of whatever to the weird onion people. Like, oh my god, this thing's not dead, and I actually didn't do it.
I didn't kill the little thing. So as you actually scoop up the rabbit seems to be willing to get picked up by you. And for you, Shreg, you get this sudden sense and this intense sort of like internal message, like it's speaking inside. You need to go back. Clear as day, you hear this voice, and it's almost this feminine voice saying, you need to go back. Let them know you need to go back.
And I'll kind of like hold the rabbit out a bit and just like probably like with the most serious look that Shreg has ever given, like complete comprehension.
I understand.
And I'll like carefully set them down.
Slain, we need to go back. I think our friends are in trouble.
Oh, well, okay. Let's go back. I mean, it'd be easy enough to find our way back here. Let's find out.
Okay. So as you make your way back, you can still sort of do like a perimeter check along the way. The rabbit does stick along with you, and it's almost like it's trying to, like how a herd dog will sort of like keep you on a certain direction. The rabbit's almost trying to do the same thing every so often, like especially with you, Slain, to make sure you don't go too far and directing you back towards it. It does end up being a full day's journey, and by the time you get back, it is nighttime. You do see that there are people gathered over at the Longhouse in this one area. You can tell there's sort of like a dinner that's just sort of wrapping up. And you see your companions actually walking up towards the Longhouse and sort of getting ready for what must be the night. And it's actually Maurice that you would come up to, since Maurice does not need to sleep. So Maurice would be the one to see the two of you emerging out of the woods. And as you leave the copse of woods, the rabbit is going to sort of quickly give you a headbutt, Shreg, and cock its head one more time. And again, it just disappears in this mist with the runes and that residual spinning gear as it makes its exit.
Can I try to reach out for the gear? It's just
sure
dust.
It's almost like, well, you're not able to technically touch it, but as your hand passes through it, it does this almost like wavering thing from its initial spin, its inertia. It sort of wobbles a little bit, and then it just fades away.
Oh. Thank you, friend.
And I'm just gonna wave into the nothing.
Into the night. Oh, I love it. Bye-bye, little rabbit. So Maurice, you see the ragtag team of Shreg and Slain coming back from their little excursion.
How much light do they have around their camp? Or
there's torches, there's their fire going right now. So it's sort of like your typical bonfire lighting that you would get at a party. You know, like tiki torches and stuff like that. It's not completely dark. I don't think I've had to
explain to anyone why they. I don't think I've had to explain to anyone in the party yet why they wouldn't be able to see me in the dark if they have dark vision.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I've had. No, I was curious. Anyway.
I don't think I've yet.
So yeah, I guess we'll just walk up to Maurice.
Okay.
Everything all right around here?
Absolutely. Well, no, that is pretty big exaggeration. Things are terrible, but, they're okay.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, no specific danger right now.
Not so much danger as ongoing problem that we are trying to solve. Something has affected the grove. The trees are dying. The priestess is sick. I spoke with Hulda, the goddess of the earth, of the forest, of the grove, and she has told me, shown me more so, I should say, that there may be something wrong with the water. We are going to try to investigate it come the morning time.
Well, I mean, we found a big patch of forest, all the trees dead, and these little, they're supposed to be like scallion people, kind of onion folk, but, they were like spiders or something. It was really weird.
Like demon possessed,
Yeah, that's it. Teeth and red bloodshot eyes and all kinds of mess. It often, I can find it again. It's off the footpath, down around this, I'll find it. I'll show you there.
Just so I'm understanding correctly, you are coming back from fighting demon-possessed onion spider people?
Yeah, well, we drove them off, and then it seemed like they were more scared of us than we were of them, and then a bunny told us to get back here pretty quick. Shreg talked to the bunny.
Shreg's just flexing.
Didn't have anything to say to me.
I would like to say that is... it seems fine. It seems fine. Why don't you get some rest and... Exactly. Demon-possessed spider bunny people. Wait, no, sorry. Yeah. Bunny-possessed or no? Just so I understand.
The bunny may or may not be magical. I thought the bunny was like a fairy or something, but I think it's more Shreg's thing. I didn't want to argue. Mostly, again, I had a nose spell on it. I didn't want to go into a hole full of onions, if you understand what I'm saying.
Oh, of course I know what you're saying. Who wouldn't understand exactly what you mean?
Yeah, but there's a place back there. I think it might be worth looking at. Was it upstream or downstream from any of the major rivers that Slane knows about, that patch forest?
It was actually upstream of one of the smaller feed streams that goes into the lake.
Okay. Ooh. I mean, it could be in the Black Hills, I guess. If it's in the water, then, that's where all those streams start. So, anyway. Something to eat around here?
Could be. I believe there is food left over from the feast.
Oh,
check
great.
the dining hall.
Feast.
There were tables and tables of this stuff.
Feast.
Yep. So for the sake of time, the few Elseeds who are still up, they make sure that you, Shreg, and Slain get your fill of goodies. Maurice, you kind of sit there and you catch them up, and you also let them know about the room that has been made ready for everyone in the Longhouse. And essentially, you get your fill of food. Shreg, I have a feeling every so often you're still looking for your bunny buddy, checking to see if you can catch them here or there. So far, nope, they don't reappear or anything like that. And they will lead you back into the Longhouse. Maurice, you're kind of given the option, if you want to, you can sort of, check out the library they have. Like, there is a place where they have, records and everything of their history and everything like that, if you want to spend your night that way, once you start taking care of a few things here and there, especially since you've just taken care of most of your rest issue. For Shreg and Slain, you're shown into the room, and you can see that Gervain, AOL, and Zira, they've pretty much already fallen asleep from the day's activities. And it gets quiet, and everyone sort of beds down for the night. And it's something where you all fall into a very deep sleep, because you are finally in a place where you are not outside in a campsite. You're actually able to sort of get comfortable, and you all have a dreamless night's sleep. So when you wake up in the morning, you're actually waking up quite refreshed. So you've all had your rest, so everyone can reset. You're like, thank you, yes, very much. So, yeah, I'm seeing the faces like, yes, thank you, please. So as you wake up in the morning, you get the morning light that's sort of filtering itself through this window, and you notice that the window itself has been made up of this very intricate wood carving, and there is glass in between, and it just gives you this very muted light. It's not a bright sunlight or anything like that. You can hear the birds are calling outside, and you actually hear the cloven hooves of the Alcide who are already up, moving around in the Longhouse itself, as well as moving around outside. So who would be up first? What do you think you'd be doing? Maurice, would you have gone back into that room, do you think, or would you have stayed out in the other room?
Actually, if possible, Maurice would have tried to find a way to contain some of Holda's flame in his body. Whether through fashioning or just straight up torch head to himself.
Oh, hell no.
To keep the ever-burning flame.
No, one of the maidens would have been chasing you away with a very big staff. You are not allowed. Nice trying, but
in
no.
that case, yeah, definitely library. Lots of reading.
Okay. So as you're sitting in this library, you have now come up upon your week count. So you find yourself once again, as your Pantheist self, in need of adjusting. So if we can get you to roll for your new God of the Week, that would be very cool.
So I will roll, and I have added Holda to the table. That is a 8. Their well-Russian accent must use every last few moments.
Bye-bye. До свидания. It's been lovely, darling. Shame we could not have had vodka together.
Yes, indeed. Oh, wait, I made a mistake. I forgot to roll 1d12 because extra God now. That's right.
Yes, you must be doing that now. It's a new thing, yes. There's a changing that's happening, yes? No.
How about that? Okay. So, Slain.
Slain? No. Personality disorder? That's a new one.
That's right. In the library, Maurice will have basically just dug up everything that he can on Holda, whether it's religious texts, scripts, scrolls, learning about the different festivals that take place in the Grove, learning about Gamerad, learning about Samprad, and sometime very early in the morning, as the light sort of crests over the hills and shines into the library, it would kind of catch his eye, and he would sense that it's time for his change, roll out his prayer mat, and kneel down on it. And as before, his gears and plates would sort of expose themselves and spindle outwards, readjusting, shifting, changing his form. So where previously he looked like a very sleek, sort of noble type figure, he's going to take on a little bit more of a roughshod appearance, where some of those plates are going to rearrange themselves to look like leaves around his shoulders and down his forearms. the crown that was on his head is going to reposition itself and focus more so on the forehead, becoming these sort of short elk-like looking horns, and his feet will sort of lengthen and become a little bit thinner, or his legs I should say, and the knee joints are actually going to reverse themselves, so that he's now got the kind of backward walking legs. This would be his second tallest form, so about as tall as he was the first time that he met the party, but a little bit taller if you count the horns. And transformation complete, he would pray, offer a gentle praise to Holta, and gather his things, and then leave the library. Hopefully go to find the others.
That was my bad, not hitting the camera. So yeah, as you've taken on this transformation, you actually would have seen that Faye is standing in the doorway, almost transfixed. She's actually caught this transformation happen. And you see her fawn brown antlers sort of tilt in one direction, and she's kind of got her chin jutted up, very much looking like her mother, but with the coloring of her father. Is this something you do often?
Not exactly often, but it is something that I do from time to time.
You are a curious creature, that is for sure. I think I might like this form a little bit more than the other, though.
Maurice will offer a curt little half bow, as per his usual.
And she'll nod her head, her antlers dipping in acknowledgement. And at this point, the rest of you would have come out of the room and have seen Faye, acknowledging Maurice in a more civilized manner than the day before, for those of you who were with Maurice. And notice that yet again, your friend has shifted.
What? Reverse knees? I mean, Maurice, what happened? Are you okay?
Good look. It's good look.
I am perfectly fine. Thank you for asking. I appreciate the compliment.
Can you jump higher like that?
Accent change. Sure.
I don't know. I have not tried. And I guess he would kind of hop.
Okay, so we get a little hopping sensation or hopping motion going from this. And at this point, you would also have Finium make his way into, well, not in, but out of his quarters. And you see him sort of pause and take in the appearance of Maurice. And just this eyebrow quirk up. Right. That's a thing. And he'll make his way over to the rest of you. I thought it important for you to all know that we have sent out the messengers. They should be back by tomorrow's time. Today I was hoping to show you around the main grove itself. Hopefully give you a better sensation of what is normal around here, what we have been dealing with, and where we are noticing the changes. And he will give you, for the rest of that day, a personal escort of the Grove of Eternal Autumn. He'll take you over to the various living quarters where you can see they have these homes that, the ones that are butted up against the Black Hills, they're actually sort of stacked into each other, much like those Mediterranean houses you'll see on the seasides. But they have more of the reds and the golds in terms of motifs for the colors of the homes, as if they're trying to blend in a little bit with the canopies of the trees. He'll also walk you over back to the farmland area so you can take a better look at the fields. And from what you can tell, the soil was perfectly fine and everything was great. And, the water so far, it looks like it is normal stream water. It doesn't look like it's been tainted or anything like that. But it's something where, he is concerned now about it. And you can see that people are very much more, the Elseeds, they're walking around and they're very much more paying attention to even just the tiniest things because of all the suggestions you had brought up the day before in terms of could it be the water, could it be this, could it be that, or the other thing. So really at this point, you're almost on this holding pattern because you're hoping to find out if the other villages in the area were noticing anything different. And this all hinges on the messengers coming back with what they found out. So it's basically a day of learning more about the Elseeds and their culture in this particular grove, and also he takes time. Finian will take time to make sure you are all ready to battle if need be. He goes through and Slain, Gervain at one point had made a point to point out a longbow for you and some of the arrows. And so Finian will actually hand over this birchwood longbow with a full set of red-tipped arrows in the Carnelian clan form of this bright red feathering at the end. So you now have this new longbow. It's just a standard longbow, nothing else besides the birch quality. So it's this pale wood, and there's some flecking of black every so often through it. And he'll give you time to get used to working with it and its ways. And you basically spend another day in the grove this way. So that by the next morning you awake to the sounds of very much agitated hooves making their way out and down through the longhouse. Something's going on. You can hear voices, you can hear activity, and you're all in this room. Maurice as well, because it seems that a couple of the Elseed were a little bit thrown off by the fact that there is this metal Elseed-like creature that just keeps standing in the middle of the longhouse, and so they requested nicely, if you don't mind, maybe just keep an eye on your companions while they sleep. So you all basically hear this sort of a kerfuffle that's starting to pick up. And again, it is earlier in the morning, but it sounds like everyone is quickly leaving the longhouse.
Well, so there, some people are like wanting Maurice out of here.
No, they didn't want Maurice sitting in the common area because it was creeping people out. They just asked if he wouldn't mind staying in the room with everyone else. Is really what it was boiling down to.
Gotcha. We got to throw down. All right.
No, it's really like, hey, would you mind just kind of like not scaring the children?
So, whoever is, I guess, well, actually, what was his name? Cal.
Finian. Cal is one of the messengers. Cal had actually gone out to go and find information. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So Finian is your chieftain. Go ahead.
Whenever there's a moment, I'll just let him know. Like we were looking at the old battle site. I guess we drove off one of the big spiders, the long legs, and there's the whole patch of forest that's just completely, I don't know. It's got a weird vibe to it. Some of the little onion people there, they'd gotten it something in them, some sort of ichor.
What do you mean the little onion, the Aleumites? They all.
Yeah, the Aleumites.
What do you mean? They've been helping us tend the farmland for ages.
No, see this? He pulls up his leg. One of them took a chunk out of me.
How could they take a chunk out of you? They're very peaceful.
That's what I thought too. Yeah. Well, they did. They had teeth, claws, and they chittered about.
They normally do not have claws or teeth. They are gardeners at best.
Yeah.
They have their little swords.
Yeah, but you know that patch of forest, though, right?
Right, where the long legs was, yes.
Yeah, around the bend. Like, what's back there?
That was just the normal part of the forest. It's where that creature decided to come in. It was, we fought it off as best we could and drove it away. We haven't had a chance to go back and inspect it.
Well, I'd lead an expedition there.
Yes, it sounds like that would be necessary.
Mm-hmm. If Slain thinks back about it, when they fought the Longlegs, was there any bloodshotness to the eyes or anything like that? Any commonalities between them and the Alamites?
It was pretty bloodied up as it was. So there was blood already running through its eyes and everything like that. It had arrows in 5 of its eyes. So it's one of those things where not really sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all I have written down is that it had bleeding legs. So,
Yep.
It could have been something. Could have got the spider. Same thing got the alamites. So where's the look? I'd be willing to go check it out if you're, short-handed.
Perhaps let's see first what our messengers have to tell us in terms of what they have found out, because I think that is going to be a good way to gauge what has to be done first. But yes, I do want to go back and check up and see what is going on in that part of the forest, because when we last saw it, it was damaged, yes, but you said it was dark. It's the darkness that concerns me.
Yeah, none of this golden light around here. No feeling of good, no good feeling either. Just it seemed bad all around, and
Then we will definitely look into that as soon as possible. For now, let us go and see what the others have to say. They have made a hasty journey to and from, and I am very curious to see if this is something we need to be concerned about elsewhere. And he's going to just walk out into the open area. Basically back to where all those tables were, where you did have your dinner. You can see a good number of the Elseeds have gathered there, and you see standing 4 across, Cal being one of them, you see these men who have run out to run these messages to the various villages in the area. And you have this one with long graying hair. He was rather terse and standoffish when you first arrived, but you see this look of concern on his face. And he's actually the first one that Finium will go over to. And you hear in his deep tone, he'll look at him and say, Sperantes, my dear friend, what have you found out? And you see Sperantes just sort of take this pause before he starts speaking. I have first gone to Whistle Hollow, and the druids have noticed that there was definitely a shift in the feel of the forest. It seems to be something they're almost excited about in their perverse way, but they too have noticed that something has changed over the past month or so. Once they got news of that, they were not too much in the lines of wanting to speak to me. So rather than waste more time trying to convince them to talk and give me more information, rather than trying to provide more information to them, I did decide to go to Braidwood. And hearing the word Braidwood, it's almost as if this whole clan falls a little bit more quiet. And you actually hear a couple of audible gasps coming from the onlookers. And Finium quirks that brow of his. And they received you? And you see Sperantes sort of just nod his head slowly, his antlers bowing with him. They did, which I was not expecting to have happen. But I spoke with one of them, and they too have noticed some oddities happening in the forest as well. Enough to be concerned, enough to speak to me, let's put it that way. I was not at all anticipating that. They've been noticing curious things. It seems as if the magic is not always working like it has been expected. And yes, even in the Margreave things go weird, but this is different than the forest taking the magic. This is something else seems to be affecting it. And as soon as I got that information from them, I made my way back, and that is really all I have to report. And Sperantes just sort of folds his arms in front of him, and you see Finium just sort of pause, and he'll put his hand on his friend's shoulder and does that, companionable, up and down pat on the shoulder. And he turns his head to the next messenger, and this messenger is a taller Elseed with a darker red hair and doe brown eyes, and he has this scowl on his face, not so much for being antisocial, but you can tell that he's mulling things over in terms of what he's about to have to deliver. And Finium looks at him, Carthamus, it is now your turn. And Carthamus, he says, I went to Levoka. They have noticed that their harvest is dealing with mutations, which is something new for them. It's not something that has ever happened before. It seems as if some of the plants are growing stronger by pulling the source of energy from those around them. So they are getting plants that are growing larger and healthier, while the other ones are dying off and weakening because they are near these plants. They've actually had to transplant the weaker plants to different sections to try and get them to grow again. Sometimes it's working and sometimes it's not, but they've noticed that something has changed for sure. And the ones that are growing larger and bigger, what they do produce is almost inedible and not palatable at all, and they've been having to do away with it, if not burn it, at least toss it into the forest and it is then taken away by, the various animals. But that is truly all they had to report back with for us. And Carthamus sort of just nods his head in acknowledgement to Delphinium, and Finium will look over to the familiar face of Cal. And Cal's face normally has that haughty, aloof look, but you can tell, especially you, AOL, since you spent more time speaking with him, his face has taken on a new countenance of extreme concern. And he took it upon himself to offer to go all the way back to Old Chick Village. And he reports that Ryurik has yet to improve to the point where Mama Rihanna is taking him back to her grove, if possible, because she feels that whatever is going on is somehow affecting her healing abilities in Old Czech Village. It seems everything she's doing to help him makes him weaker for the next day or so, and then she's finding herself just as fatigued by performing this magic. And at hearing that, you will see Finium sort of raise his head up in concern. That sounds much like what is happening to Gypsophilia. And you see Cal sort of nod his head. And he turns to you, the party. Cal does. Mama Rayona wanted to make sure that you all knew that she is okay, but she is worried about Ryurik and his health. She is hoping to take him back up the river to the inn, and hopefully there she can help him recuperate. But she does want you all to be on your guard and pay attention. She is worried that something has shifted, something has changed. She has never felt the forest this way, and when she has spoken to her trees, they too are concerned, and she is getting glimpses of some sort of force that is here now that should not be here, that had been dealt with but should not have gotten out type of sensation. She wanted to make sure you all knew that. I have never seen her look so scared, never before. She has always been one of great determination and bravery, and here she was, this frail little woman. Something is going on for sure. And I did meet with a friend of mine, one of my piney friends, and he too said that they've been noticing strange things, that their magic has not been working appropriately, and that it almost is taking more effort on their part to perform simple things that normally would not take much concentration or effort. This isn't just us. This is gone beyond the grove. Or maybe it has reached the grove based upon what we are hearing. But it is definitely it's got its way out there. It's finding the other villages. It is finding other spots. And you see Finium just sort of, as I'm doing it, he pinches his nose, and you see this very large sigh just sort of come even from the shoulders. It's just his shoulders slumped down, and there's one last messenger left waiting, and it's Aposterus, this blonde-haired, blue-eyed, very chipper-friendly fellow. In fact, he was quite happy to meet all of you that first night there. He relates how he made his way to Edgewater and Inkut and Whedon villages, and for them, they've been having odd sightings of this fog. It seems to come out of nowhere, and there have been some to go in and investigate this peculiar fog, and yet they don't come back out. In fact, their bodies are found later. Some of the domesticated animals they're finding weakened in the morning, and for unexplained reasons, they can't bring them back up to health. In fact, by the next night, it almost seems like they're ready to pretty much give up the ghost, and they find them dead the next day more often than not. And this fog is one that seems to be coming here and there, no set path to it, but it's only at the evening hours that they see it. And there are some murmurings that it takes on these bizarre colors. It's not just a simple gray fog. It's almost as if it's picking up the reds of the sunset every so often. And it's come to the point where people are so terrified of it that they disappear away from it as quickly as possible. They won't even go to investigate it anymore. But this is what they've been noticing in these general areas. So once all of the messengers have given their reports, Finium turns back to the six of you, and you see this intense look of concern on his face. Well, I don't know exactly what I had hoped for.
Do we have a map? Do you have a map of all these locations that they went to? And possibly of the surrounding area?
Yes, of course. We can very easily get you a map and give you a sense of the layout of everything. That won't be a problem. We can go back to the Longhouse and get you one.
Yeah, I
And we
think
do actually have a map, I believe. Yeah, Jim, do you still have that link to the map that was in our Discord?
It's a map. It's a map.
And the map, the map.
The stuff going on at Edgewater and Wheaton. Did they say?
You're getting a sense it's all about the same amount of time. This bizarre, about a month's time, things started going a little skewed for everyone. So the timeline is setting up about the same as everyone else. And even with Olchik Village, if you recall, it was about, at that point, it had been a few weeks where they couldn't get into the Cradle Grove. Because of that bizarre creature that was suddenly taking it over. Which you killed.
I was somewhat hoping that there would be a difference in times when the stuff had been noticed everywhere. That would give us a direction to say, hey, it started over there. That's not it. So whatever this is, it is very big. It almost sounds like plants have gotten a form of vampirism, and even, I'd say, the air with that fog.
There's that dream wraith that tried to steal our something, Rurik's life force. But that was a known thing, right? The dream wraith?
No, Mama Mariana said that they were rare, but they did exist.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we want, we can start at Lavoca and work our way back west, and we'd hit Whistle Hollow, and then, or Edgewater, Whistle Hollow, Palewood, and then back to Olchik, end up there.
So you want to go and check all of the villages, is what you're saying?
I mean, I know where Lavoca's at, and but there's I'm not familiar with.
The reason I was getting the map is because maybe, hopefully I can help. I don't know if anyone else is really smart with maps, but I was going to see if we can maybe pinpoint where all the sources are coming from. Yeah, it seems that I don't want to waste any time if all these villages are experiencing all these conditions, and if we're able to triangulate and ascertain where the source might be, it might be in our best interest and all these villages' interest to explore that.
Yeah.
I think trying to find a central point would be good too, especially when it's the point we've got peoples that won't talk to each other talking to each other. That says a lot about the gravity, if nothing else had.
Okay.
What's its
all right,
Salt Springs?
The Salt Springs?
Yeah.
I haven't been there in quite a while. I'm afraid I cannot tell you or say very much. We can definitely get that information back up at the Longhouse, though. Gypsophilia may know more about that than I, though. Quite certainly, she's usually the one who has that information right at hand. And you will notice that Gypsophilia has not been at this whole conversation, which she hadn't been around that much yesterday either.
Yeah.
And being the priestess of the grove, that's something a little bit of concern as well. So if you make your way up to... Okay, so if you go back up to Longhouse, you will be given your own map, no backpack, just the map of the areas of the Margreave. I love that some of you got that reference. And there's this long table where basically, the map is unfurled, and Finium is, making sure it's secured on either corner. And he says, "Just one moment, I'll get Gypsophilia and have it come out." And he goes further back into the recesses of the longhouse where you can tell their living quarters are stationed. And it gives you a little bit of time with each other to discuss a little bit about the recent discoveries, if you would like.
Yeah. I'm about to post another map. I'll have all the locations circled for us so we can kind of see.
Oh, look at you.
I know it.
I just
You're like
figured it all
on
out.
top of it.
I was spending all that time. Yeah.
What do you got? Yeah.
I think it seems that it has to be coming anywhere from the Black Hills. That's the only thing that attaches all
That's the
these
only thing.
rivers. The runoff. I don't know if the glacier runoff.
Do I know what season? You said we were heading into spring, though, right?
It's moving into spring. Yes, it's moving into the spring season.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The glacier runoff might be. There might be something affecting glacier runoff from the Black Hills.
Certainly, yeah.
That's the only
Okay.
thing I can think of. What do you guys think?
I think checking out the hills is where that's if these villages don't need help, they're just having some problems. Then we probably don't need to visit them individually. I thought Salt Springs was the only other place that looked like it might connect, but I think Black Hills is a better choice.
Well,
I'm happy to go.
I'm just looking at the map where the Cradle Grove.
That's where we're at currently, right?
No. Cradle Grove was near Olchek.
Where
You're
are
in
we
the
at
Grove
right
Eternal. You're in Eternal Autumn. So you are basically
Eternal
where, if you're looking at the map, just north of the Dead Druid Run, basically where that first part of the Black Hills starts up, the Grove is tucked into that section. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So the Grove is, it's basically, it's if you go to the northeast side of the Black Hills, right where that first peak starts, that's where the Grove is.
Yep.
Tucked in against that area.
Slane,
Let me
I
put the
think
map.
what's best is if we go either from Salt Springs to, I think it's pronounced, oh no, the Jerda Falls and then the Black Hills. That's probably, I think that's maybe the places we want to check out.
Yeah, I was thinking something similar. The falls here, that's about how far away are the falls?
In the falls, it'd probably be about a good, like the other ones, like a couple days journey to and from,
Okay.
give or take.
Visit the falls and cut back. Because the falls might have something that's their poison.
That could be a thing, but we also have to consider trying to cross the river. We've seen that's been problematic a few times.
There's surely a ferry, or maybe we can get a canoe and just paddle upriver.
Is there a place to cross at Edgewater? Because it seems like there's a village there. That might be a good idea.
What do we know if there's a bridge at Edgewater?
No, you'd have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
You may have to cross
Well.
again, like with some sort of craft.
Yeah.
Ideally, well, I should speak as Drake Brain.
Ideally, we should just cross the river the minimum amount of times. So, I don't know. We have to cross it at least twice, actually, if we plan on coming back here. So, I think what's best is if maybe we cross the river north of Edgewater, so if we do get sucked in, hopefully we get spit out somewhere at Edgewater.
Well, but if we're thinking that alternatively it could be the Black Hills, wouldn't it make sense to stay on the Black Hills side and then we can monitor the
Yeah.
situation with the boat. And then if we find that maybe it's more from the falls, then we can cross there. And we'll just
That makes
when we
sense.
get there.
I think that's a wiser decision.
Check out the Black Hills first.
What does Finium think about our plan, or any of the messengers who are next to us, like Aposteros,
The
Cal,
messengers
Carthnus?
stayed behind. The
Okay.
messengers that stayed behind. Finium is actually just starting to come back with Gypsophilia. Well, this was
Okay.
sort of a conversation you were having between the six of you. What about Zira and Shrag? Did you have any thoughts about what you're hearing from your companions before Finium comes back in?
I think that all sounds good, and I'm like stuffing my face with the pie in front of Gervain.
Oh,
You're back to the pie.
man. Oh, man.
She brought the pie.
I talked to Little Czar last night and told him to try and help me sneak a pie. Can I see if Little Czar is able to get a pie while she's distracted her pie looking at me?
We're gonna have a pie off. Okay. Take a staff and try and do a stealth.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, might be. Maybe it's savory.
23 for stealth.
You got a what?
23.
That's what I heard. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So then, so
High
little Czar
serious
rolls a
business,
23.
okay.
Zira, let's get you to roll an insight check. See if you catch him trying to be sneaky. You have a 23.
I don't think I'm going to.
No.
I only got 16. 16.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Well, that's not.
Oh, gee.
So, Zira, as you're sitting there taunting Gervain with this pie, picking up that fork and just smacking your lips from how good it tastes, the rest of you see little Czar
So good.
softly padding to where that basket is sitting with the other pie, and just very gently open his mouth, and in that cat-like way, mouth the handle of the basket and pick it up, and then just quietly pad his way back over with this very gleeful glint in his eyes, and just sort of tuck under the table before he gets over to Gervain. And Gervain, you feel him nudge your knee with his nose, and he leaves the basket by your feet.
Sweet.
What'd you do tonight, folks? Well, we had the cat steal a basket of pie.
Yeah. I'm going to grab into the basket, grab a piece of pie, and look at Zira. Well, if we're done fooling around, and take a, piece of pie, then let's get to planning. And man, is victory sweet.
So while the two of you are pieing off, you see Finium and Gypsophilia coming back down, or not down, but through the longhouse itself. And he's supporting her by her elbow, and she is looking even more pale than she did the first day you met her. Her movements are definitely more methodical and thought out. You can tell that she is tired and not looking like she can stand for very long. In fact, he makes sure she can sit down comfortably near you all by this long table, and she sort of takes a deep breath and she looks to you, and I hear that you had questions about certain areas. What can I do to help you?
Trying to figure out maybe where some of this corruption is coming from, and Gervain had a theory that perhaps the Black Hills. We're curious, if we were to get stuck on the other side of the river, how we would get back across, and maybe if there's a place that would be good to check out, start our search for.
So you still think it could be with the water source that is causing all of this? I mean, what did the messengers say? I have just gotten up, so I did not hear what they had to share.
All
They
kinds
said
of villages.
it's affecting all these villages. It's affecting Edgewater, it's affecting Laverka, it's affecting the Braid Witch and Whisper Hollow. So I was just trying to figure out if possibly it's all from the river and it's spring. So I thought maybe glacier runoff is something from the Black Hills. If the Black Hills get snow or ice, and if that runs off and feeds the rivers.
All right, but what are all the ifs that are happening? What are the things that are affecting them? Like, is there some sort of common connection with them before we start sending you off into the hills? And AOL, she'll look to you. AOL, she'll look to you. You are the one who tends to be the studious type and takes the notes. Have you noticed anything in common with all of everything that has come back in the reports?
I mean, it seems that one of the common things is, honestly, it seems like in a way the land is cannibalizing itself.
The land is
like
feeding on its life
vampire
source. And you see her sort of like sit up to attention at that word. Like vampirism.
Yes. I mean, that's what it sounds
You
like.
were at... You said you went by the dead ruins. Did you not?
We did. We did, but we couldn't get to it. The waters were too strong.
Which is not normally the case either.
Maybe
Keep
that's
going.
where we should start then.
What else? What else has been showing?
You have fog people have been trying to investigate. The people don't come back. When they come back, it's corpses. You have plants taking the life force from other plants, and then they're inedible. I mean, Mama Rihanna, an old chick's being affected. Anytime she heals, she hurts more, similar to what seems to be happening to you. Well, that is not what has been said. That is what I've observed.
That is not good at all. She is one of the stronger ones, too. I know you all want to think in the practical line of thought of it being water, and water flowing from the mountains and down. But I am hearing magic. And magic does not flow in certain directions. Magic spreads.
Does it not follow the ley lines?
Would there not be...
It can.
If it spreads, then spread from.
Well, I'm wondering if maybe we might have a clue already in our hands. Did
Does
you
Gervain
find out?
Oh, go ahead.
Did you find out anything more about the Dead Druid run, or hear of its lore? Any of you?
I don't think Slane had. I'm not sure he'd investigated it.
Would
I think
that
perhaps
come up in any of the stuff
that
that Maurice is reading?
yes, Maurice, you might have gotten a slight hint of it here and there. Let's have Maurice do. Let's do insight for you,
Okay,
Maurice.
well,
See if that rings a bell for you. AOL as well, maybe
well.
perhaps with your studies. Yeah, so AOL, give me an Arcana, AOL, and Maurice. Maurice, for you, do religion. Let's go in that direction.
12.
That is an 18 for religion.
Okay. AOL, you would have sort of like this dim recollection of sort of an ancient history type of lesson type of thing. Since you were more geared towards checking out the Margreave and what it has to offer with its, plant life and abilities to use in spells and whatnot, you did hear of the Dead Druid run where some sort of ritual had been performed in order to preserve and protect that portion of the forest from evil, essentially. You don't really recall much more than that, but you remember that there's something significant about those 5 stones in the river. because of the ritual that was performed thousands of years ago, or 1,000 years ago, type of thing.
Okay.
For you, Maurice, you would have in your studying of Holda and its connection with the Cornelian clan and their establishment of the grove itself, you would have come across this very small footnote in one of the journals from one of the priestesses from long ago, where she had said something along the lines of how the ritual had been a success. The 5 who sacrificed their lives managed to capture those who needed to be kept under control, and may Holda and the other gods see to it that they always remain so, trapped within the stones, trapped beneath the river.
Yeah,
I do recall
So
from my readings that
So Maurice, that would have been your...
very important to the gods here of the Margreave. And there was one some time ago that was performed that may be of relevance. And then I conveyed that information.
Okay. So Maurice relays this information to you.
Yeah, they always said it was Baba Yaga that did it whenever I was a kid. But, I think Baba Yaga does, she does everything. She's just awesome like that. Have we tried swimming down there?
I tried. The water was too strong for me to handle. But, it might be worth trying again, especially if maybe something happened to the stones or something?
Could be that. It's the only other place that's, really central to everything. And if it's spreading out, then that might be that'd be good to check out, I think. And then if it's not, we can always see the hills. But
I remember when we were passing by, things seemed really odd there too, and it's the only place that doesn't have a population to speak of, really. But things were weird there, whereas everywhere else, there's at least some sort of population. That seems to be a big tie-in.
I think it's worth doing what we can to search that river. Maybe bring some. We'll just bring some rope. That should be fine. Just a little rope.
Then we use rope.
Does Gypsophilia? Do you have any anything to help us breathe underwater? Something.
I'm
anything?
sure that we can try and figure out. I was going to say we do have boats that you could use if you wanted to make your way down.
I was more underneath the water, personally.
Perhaps we can work on. She's a little bit puzzled. Perhaps I can work on some sort of tincture that would help you sustain yourself. I am not sure. I would have to look into it, but perhaps one important thing to remember about those rumors of the stones and everything is that there were rumors that it was also there to contain some vampires.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I thought they were druids, but vampire druids could be. Maybe they went bad or something.
They were always rumors, and always with Baba Yaga. With Baba Yaga, she likes to add her own flavor to things. So, of course, over the years, the stories have changed.
Yeah,
but I am thinking that perhaps after... She is an interesting person. She is that. I think perhaps it is best if you do go back to those stones and see what has happened with the Dead Drone run. You came and you reported odd activities about it to begin with. I worry that maybe this might somehow have been affected or compromised, or there was more to it that might give you a better lead rather than trying to go all over the place and figure things out from there. Start from there and work your way out, perhaps, instead.
Oh, that's probably why you're the wise one.
Yeah, that's probably
I'm ready to go.
I think. Yeah.
She just sort of gets this bemused smile on her face and just sort of like dips her eyes down, and Finium is standing to her side and he kind of gets this smirk. She is definitely one who knows of the traditions and the lore far better than any of us. This has been her entire life. But it seems we need to get you downriver.
Yeah, I think so. Out of curiosity, where are the lines around here? The old paths, maybe that might help us as we're getting our search going.
Are you talking the shadow?
There is one.
Like the ley lines, where the old magic walks along, that kind of thing. Maybe there's a way to track how this thing spreads with it.
There is one that runs directly from the shrine. That is the source for us. That is one of the sources of our power. That is why the shrine is where it is. But I think perhaps your friends could possibly be of good help in this situation. But do keep in mind, the Margreave likes to move them as well. So you have this doubly heightened. Finding the ley lines and hoping that they stay put.
So, did you say that there was boats or something that can take us down from where we are here to the
Yes.
the dead druids?
There is. We have a couple of canoes that could probably do the job for you all. And get you further down and get you closer to the stones to check everything out.
Yeah.
I am sure we can send Cal along with you if you'd like the guide. He knows the Margreave the best out of all of our messengers. He is a living map, essentially.
I mean, we'll take all the help we can get when it comes to rivers. We haven't had good times on it, so I think that's for the best.
You haven't had a good water experience?
What are you talking about? That's fine. No one got hurt.
One time I had a really good water experience. It was in a cave, and it was like the best water ever.
Chips is feeling a little smile.
One experience.
That sounds like you had a lovely time then. I would love to hear the story, perhaps at a better time where we can sit and enjoy. And then, essentially, Finium is going to turn to the six of you. All right, so we have a starting point. We start with the stones. We see if we can find out anything going on with them. I will send Cal with you. That way, if something needs to be relayed to us, he can get back to us faster. He is my fastest messenger. He is my best messenger. But Slain and Shreg, I am... Yes, go ahead, AOL.
Cal, didn't you say that the stones looked off like they were cracked or something? I'm trying to remember why I was trying to cross the river in the first place to check on them. You'd said something about that.
Cal isn't there right now. He was left outside with the other messengers. So that's something you could ask him about. So you can just say it like in passing, like you thought that he had said there was something wrong. Which, okay. And you'll see Finium just sort of, not startled, but focus on that. So already the stones were not looking right. And Slain and Shreg, you said there was something wrong with the Aryamites that you encountered at the site of the invasion.
Yeah, the Aryamites were berserkers. It's really terrifying.
All right.
Just like that.
Demons.
I think it's probably best that we go and take a look at them. See if we can find out more about them. They don't sound like the usual kind.
Be careful. Our rabbit friend definitely didn't want us to keep going off that way.
What rabbit friend?
A rabbit, like Like that.
Yeah, there's a rabbit that keeps following us around.
Oh,
It's got like ruins, and there's like a gear, and it's definitely magical. So it was helping.
Just spit all over
So
myself.
a magical rabbit. That's okay. Hey, it's life. Luckily, it's not live in terms of we're all face to face. It's good. We're fine. It's all great. Finium's trying not to chuckle a little bit at this idea of this large trollkin and this small kobold following the instructions of a little rabbit. So
I mean,
it was warning you, but there was only two of you. Perhaps if we go in false, that might be a better situation. How many of them were there?
it was like 5 or 6, maybe. It didn't seem like that many.
All right, already there are 7 of us, so the number has shifted. I don't know about you, but I could use a good fight to work off some aggression.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. Like that's good.
I think
Quite
I'm ready.
frankly, if it gives us some answers. What about you, Zera? And Zera, he'll look down at you because you have your 2 swords. What do you think, my friend? Shall we see if you're
I'm ready.
All right. I say we go back and check things out. I think maybe finding more information about how these alien might have shifted might help you further with your investigation as to what has been happening.
Yeah, let's get some answers.
All right.
Actually, it would be good to stretch my legs, especially finding out how they stretch this way.
Stop,
Just be
please.
careful you've
Stop
not
stretching
overeaten
her
them.
weird legs.
It's like that double jointed thing that freaks people out. Like, look at what I can do. Oh my god.
I'm curious.
Let's
How's
flip
that
the knee
bug
back.
with that? When our Elsiad friends here stretch and such, I mean, I fail to see the big difference. One's metal, one's...
I guess you're right, you will. I'm sorry for judging, Maurice. Your legs look great.
It's not good to
And then
lie.
he's gonna get like a little half
got
twirl,
legs.
bending
Like
them
your
really
finger.
awkwardly.
Okay, let's go.
Lines you never think you'd hear. You've got great legs. Okay. All right, let's go with it. So, yeah. So, Finium's going to leave. Gypsophilia sitting comfortably where she is. She'll nod to all of you and sort of wish you good luck. And well, she'll definitely look towards you. Make sure you take note of anything unusual, out of sorts, remarkable. Use that student mind of yours and see if anything sticks out. It could be of help.
Very well. It seems to have already helped a bit.
And she'll nod her head. And essentially, Slane and Shreg, Finium's going to let you two take the lead to take the group back to this area where you've encountered these strange, chittering, red-eyed, clawed, what should be Alliamites.
Hope.
You hope.
Bad.
You hope and you pray.
Yeah.
You see where it goes. All right,
Let's,
so you
take
all make your way
them back.
back. Yep, you make your way back, and for you, Slane, this is pretty much old hat because it's, been there, done that. Let's get back to it, if anything, for you. And you all come back to this area where, again, the forest seems to be a little bit darker. It's probably later midday at this point after all the excitement, the relaying information, your little powwow in the longhouse and figuring out what's going on. And are you fighting a bug there, Gnome?
It's on the mosquitoes.
Do we have a question? Have you a question?
If you keep squirming, they just keep coming for you, Shrek. Calm down.
So Shrug's spazzing out because this bug-like creature seems to be irritating you, Shrug, every so often as you're going by. But then all of a sudden it just leaves you be. You make your way to this clearing, but for the four of you who have not been here before, and even for Finium, you hear his cloven hooves falter a little bit in step. And this clearing is definitely, it has this darker feel to it. It definitely does not carry this golden warmth that spreads throughout the rest of the grove. And again, you have these uprooted trees that have sort of created this canopied area where there's this dark above ground cave essentially that's been formed by the tree roots and the other trees and everything like that. They sort of like piled on top of each other. So you're sort of standing at the opening of this, this natural opening. What would you like to do as you're standing there?
I'll shake the leaves again and see if anything comes out. They attacked us whenever I did this. Get ready.
Start.
We heard them.
Okay. Oh my god. This is just cracking me up. Okay, so go ahead, Ewa.
I mean, they're plant-type people, right? As you described. Well, maybe that's something that would normally grab their attention because they're plants-ish.
Sure, something like that. I thought they were spiders at the time, though. That was why I was trying to get them out. But they are plants, right? So they would be affected by this stuff that's going on. So, I'm happy to go in first. If anybody's, I don't mind.
Okay.
I'm curious if it's necessarily plants or if it's just living things or things that have any sort of life force.
I don't know. I can't remember anything about that spider, whether it was weird.
You did not inspect the spider that closely.
No, we didn't.
Outside of it being abnormally large.
Yep, and having weapons sticking out of it.
Yeah. I'm gonna get, just crouch down and go on inside.
Okay. So the intrepid Slain, in his trollkin form, hunches over and makes his way back into this familiar enclosure. And again, it is dark. And just as you make your way into the dim light, you hear that in the distance again.
We're not here to hurt you. We're just trying to figure out what's wrong with you and if we can help.
And
but he's gonna keep going.
Saying this, okay, so you say this and you keep going. So as you say that and as you keep going, Slain, you hear this sound, and we shall see. And does a 10 hit?
A 10 does not hit.
Okay, so whirring past your head, you hear this whoosh sound, and at this tree root dangling right behind you, you hear a dink, and you see this dart now sitting in that root
come on
of the tree.
I bet that was poison.
Come on, little fella.
Listen.
Come on, little fella, play nice.
They're shooting at us. I think we're just gonna have to get them out and do this the hard way. And Slane's just gonna go in after him. Like,
okay.
The tunnels here are pretty low, or what?
It's sort of this canopied situation. So you have about 10 to 15 feet overall from the height of the root systems.
It's not like underground.
Have you ever seen like trees get
sort
blown over after a hurricane?
Yeah.
You've seen that before? So it's all these exposed tree root systems that have sort of been canopied together along with the tops of the other trees. So it's created like this natural dome type situation.
All right.
And that's what's going on.
He's
all right,
gonna see where they are. If there's a bottleneck, So.
All right, so if Slane's going in for the attack, that means everyone needs to roll for initiative, please.
No snap.
Oh, snappity snap, darlings.
22.
All right,
That
so
is a 13 for Maurice.
a 13 for Maurice. So Maurice gets a 13. 22 for Slain.
Wait,
Shrek,
is that-
did you get? What was that?
12.
A 12 for Shreg. Gervain.
17.
17. Zira.
5. Sorry.
5. No, it's totally okay. There's like a slight lag happening. So a 5. And then AOL, what did you get, dear?
11.
11. Okay. So our marching order is going to be Slain, Gervain, Maurice, Shreg, AOL, our chitterers, our alliamites, and Zira, you take the end round of that. Okay, so it's actually quite appropriate. Slain, you go in to the fray, so to speak, and you're running into this darker portion, and you will see right away those glowing red eyes again staring back at you. Only this time you have 7 of them staring back. And oops, I forgot to roll for Finium. Finium would have gone with you as well. All right, so Finium is going to be... He's going to go right before our alliamites. So we have Finium too. Gotta get him open.
Okay.
Okay, so you see these eyes and you
it's-
see that there's 7 of them and they're actually sort of scattered around this time.
Okay. Is there any near, like any of them right near at hand or anything?
There's one that's probably within like grasping reach of you. The one, basically the one that was close enough to start shooting things at you, yes.
Okay, I'd like to grab that one because yes, I'm not sure. I don't want to hurt them because if we can help them, that's good. So I'd like to grab that one.
Okay, so you're going to try and grapple him? Is that what you're thinking? All right.
Yes.
You roll, I roll.
There we go.
You got him. You got him. Yeah, with a -2. God, you got him.
And
Okay,
I'll sort of like
so-
hold him, if they can't get me.
Oh, I think you rolled a
And
what,
I-
a 16?
A 16, yeah.
Yeah, with the disparity of differences of number here, you are able to grab quickly with your large Trollkin hands, and you've basically pinned this one alliamite ? In both of your hands, and it's just sort of looking at you, it's hissing, and it's, gnashing its teeth at you, but it can't bite you from the way you have a grip on it. But you do have a good hold on it. For sure.
I'd like to put him in a sack. And I'm hoping we can capture them and like keep them.
Okay, well,
just tie them up basically.
this
until they can
round
get
you-
the-
Okay,
Yeah.
this round you have a hold of him. Okay, so
Gotcha.
we'll see what happens later on. But you grabbed him, you got him. That's one of them.
There we go.
So now there is
we
one
go.
that is, oh my God, Jesse, gotta catch them all, really?
Get him!
Oh, dear God. Okay, so the one is now in Slane's hands. So there's the 6 others that the rest of you will have to contend with. That brings us to Gervain. You can see scattered around, and you're probably dealing with about a 30 around foot space that you're dealing with, and they're sort of scattered in different directions, but they are all in front of you.
These are the chitterers.
Yes, these are the chitterers. You can see the eyes, and you can see very vague outlines of these bulbous-like heads and smaller in stature type creatures as they're sort of moving, and you can see the shadows of their silhouettes.
And it's dim lit, and I can see Slain.
Mm-hmm. You don't
Right.
have full source of
Yeah,
light,
it's
but
only-
it's sort
it's
of
only-
like,
It's only in darkness
What are you
if
doing?
you have dark vision. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're nice, and I don't want to hurt them. They just are possessed or something.
All right, do I
Oh,
have like a
besides my
bag,
cabbage
or
truck.
does he have a bag that I see him trying to go for? Because if we're trying to capture him, I see him trying to do that, I'll probably just hop on board with that idea.
okay. So, Gervain, you're going to You're going to put the Alliumite into a bag.
Chitter.
Bag of chitter. Okay, let's do... well, he's so then let's do sleight of hand, see if you can get it up and over without disturbing him and getting bitten process. How's that?
Yeah, sounds great. I'm just following Slane's lead. This is what,
I was not expecting you to bag the bad guy, so this is very much off the cuff.
That's an 18.
An 18.
19, yeah.
These dice.
assuming we
these
can
dice
help.
are just telling the story. Okay.
Mhm.
So, Gervain, you managed to get this bag over this creature and quickly get it, I guess, cinched up. So you have this this bag that's basically showing this wriggling, moving around, like it's not happy to be in the bag, obviously, and it is free,
Obviously.
but it is in the bag for now. Because keep in mind, you've just put it into the bag, not tied up,
Yeah.
and they have claws. So.
Sure.
Right now it's in the bag. We'll leave it at that. So the two of you, yay, you caught the little Alliumite. Let's move it down to Maurice. What would you like to do?
Maurice is watching these two wrangle these creatures up with a mixture of intrigue and confusion. But seeing that the general consensus seems to be not to destroy them, and there's 5 other ones, correct?
There's 6 other ones.
I heard
There's 7
eyes,
with
but I
one
don't
in
know
the...
if there's 7 sets of eyes.
7 sets of eyes, so one of the sets is now in a bag. And it's mad.
Yeah. Okay. Maurice is just gonna kind of shrug, I guess, and he is gonna go ahead and cast spiritual weapon in the form of a oversized mallet, which is going to project itself as like this sort of crackling mixture between light and electricity, with some gears kind of turning on either side of it. And he's going to assume that it's time to play some whack-a-mole, I guess. So
time to mince some onions.
Yeah, I guess so, right? I don't even know here.
I'm sorry. The second you said mallet, I'm just picturing the cooking. Go for it. Okay, so spiritual weapon is activated and going, and time to get them ready for the swim.
Yeah, I'd like to bop one. Whether I have to move first or put it, I can put it within 20 feet of me, and I have 30 feet of movement, so I assume I can.
Yeah,
I can
you
bop
absolutely.
one.
Yeah, you can very much bop one.
Cool.
That's not going to be a problem. Okay, so go in and let's see how you do with how the spiritual weapon does bopping it on the head. As you do.
That would be spell attack or so /R. 20. Let's see. Yeah. Oof, that's gonna miss.
What'd you get?
An 8. Sorry, speaking French.
Yeah, an 8 will definitely swing and a miss. So this spiritual weapon goes to knock this creature down, and at the very last second, it's able to dodge right out of the way, and you just see your mallet impact basically the side of one of the trees, and it does no damage whatsoever. And this creature is now turned to you and is hissing, and its bright eyes are flashing towards you, Maurice. Is there anything else you can or would like to do for this turn?
Well, spiritual weapon is a bonus action, and I still have 2 nets, so I guess if capturing them is the game plan, I'll throw a net at the one that's hissing at me.
You gonna throw a net?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing, but here we go.
You're catching
That's also
critters.
an 8, interestingly enough.
Nope. So the net goes out and nothing happens. It basically if anything, you almost catch your spiritual weapon instead of the Alliumite, and it has dodged out of the way yet again. Quick on what it is you're trying to do, especially after seeing its companion getting caught. They are on the alert and they are ready to go. And I love how Michael is ready to die in the background.
I will be honest with you, my friends. Non-missile tactics are not exactly my forte. I will do my best, but it would be much easier for me to flatten them with lightning. Let's do this. I don't know what we're doing.
Okay, so Shrug,
With
now
German
we come to
as
you.
like the last second there back.
So Shrug, it's your turn. You have seen Slain and Gervain catch one. You have seen Maurice try to catch another. What would you like to do?
Shrug is gonna like kick it in the background, and again, having learned that these were normally really nice people, Shrug's not gonna hurt them. So again, another like little twisting, tick 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 tick, and this like, and I'm gonna cast sleep on them, not my party. Very gonna be specific on that.
So you're aiming it out towards
Position
where
it.
you see the other 5 at this point.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see what you get.
Did it, man.
Did it?
Okay.
How many
a little
did you
better.
get for it?
30 HP.
30. Okay, so with 30, you see one set of those eyes definitely close, and a second one just seems to sort of waver on its feet. It's not looking too steady on its feet, but one of them is definitely down and sleeping. So you've put one asleep, and the other one is a little
Don't hurt them, guys!
Okay.
That's all I can do.
So that's Shreg. That brings us to AOL. It is your turn.
Kind of sighs really heavily, like, we could have tried talking first. I think it's a bit late for that. I don't know if I want anything to do with this, though, because we don't know if this is, like, them permanently possessed, or if this is something that can be taken off. Actually, I doubt it works. I'm gonna try. And AOL's gonna cast Prestidigitation on one to see if it can manage to remove whatever's going on.
I love it. Okay, so what does this look like as you're trying to cast Prestidigitation? What sort of effect would it look like it's doing as it's trying to clean the closest one to you, I'm guessing, is where you're going with this?
Yeah, I guess it kind of looks like it's gonna be bright and sparkly for a change, actually.
Oh, okay.
And it's just gonna envelop this little onion-type individual, and it's gonna linger for a bit, trying to remove whatever's going on with it.
All right, so all you can see is now that it has this, sparkling to it, you see this creature just swatting at this magic going on around it. It's looking pissed. It's not happy. Nothing is changing outside of its temperament, getting even more pissed off. So anything else you can or would like to do, or are we shuffling down the line now to Finium? Okay, so Finium taking in. Finium he's at this point, he's having some doubts. You just hear him, like, there's this long, knuckleheads, and he pulls back his longbow and he aims for the one set of eyes that has been wavering after the sleep spell that Shreg had cast, and his bow shoots true, and you see this arrow land. Let's see how much damage it takes here. And you see the arrow land, and you hear an audible ka-thunk as it makes contact, and the creature is now sinking to its knees after that attack. And he will turn to the rest of you. I understand wanting to take some alive, but I am worried that if we keep them alive, they may keep getting bigger, because you said there were 6 and now there are 7. And now it is the creature's turn. Now there are creatures who are going to be not so happy. So we have, oh my god, we have the Alumite in the bag. He is going to try and claw his way out. So with an 18, I'm not even adding anything else to it. You see, holding this bag, Slain, this claw stick through and just this one singular claw has created a slit, and its face starts to push out, and you see these chomping pin-like teeth and these bright red glowing eyes trying to aim towards you. And it is not fully out of the bag, but it has made its way somewhat out of there. The others who have been left, they start to advance up towards you. However, they can only, however they get up to, well, let's see here. Maurice, the one who is near you, is actually going to go on the attack. And I don't think that's going to hit, but does a 7 hit? Maurice?
So not only does a 7 not hit, but I would like to use a reaction to thunderously rebuke it. I'm sorry, it has to hit me first. I take it back.
Okay, so it goes to hit you, or it does not hit you. So you can't do anything with it then?
That's right. That was my mistake.
Okay. Okay. And then you have the other. Okay, so then you have one that's coming up towards Finium to attack him. They will miss. One goes up to you, Shreg. Does a 19 hit?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Okay. Oh, Shreg, darling. Okay, so they are going to go again with their claw, try and swipe at you, and you will take 5 points slashing from its attack. Slain.
Mm-hmm.
One is going to go towards you because it sees you holding its companion in a bag. Does a 19, another 19. Does a 19 hit?
19 hits.
19 hits. So Slain, you are then taking on 7 points slashing. And I think that was 4, correct? Maurice, Finium, Shreg, Slain. Yes, okay. Because the other one is not moving because it is down on the ground, not looking great. I think, and the other one's asleep. Yes. So there we go. Okay, yes. So now that takes us to Zira. It is up to you.
Get him, Zira.
To take some action. You have one on Maurice, one on Shreg, one on Slain, one trying to get to Finium but missed. One in a bag, one asleep, and one in the back not looking great.
Slain took the most damage, right?
Yes.
I took 7, yeah.
I'll go up to the one on Slain, and I'm going to just attack it. Just do a sword attack. But then I also do want to do a trip attack. A sword attack. A trip attack, which is one of my features, and I can expend a superiority die if I hit suit. It's fine. I can speak. It was a 19 just without adding my modifier.
That's absolutely going to hit. That is absolutely going to hit.
And it's fine, guys. I can speak. I don't even know what I'm doing right now.
We're just happy you're taking initiative and hitting things.
So with the trip attack, it would be 12. And then
12
you
points?
have to make, yeah.
Okay.
And then
I
you have to make a DC 13 on a strength saving throw, and if not, the target is prone.
Okay, it is prone on the ground. Absolutely.
Prone. And
it's also not looking too wonderful. And you're done. Okay, so the one in front of Shreg, or Slain, right? It was in front of Slain, right?
Yes.
That's the one you're going for, the Slain? Okay, so the one in front of Slain is now looking not so great at all. It is wavering on its feet too, and that is, you said, the last for your motions, right? Are you guys good with carrying, because we're almost at the 11 o'clock, are you guys good carrying this through a little bit longer? Yes, thumbs up? Okay, all right, so, because this is one of the things where we could pause it here, we keep going. Okay, so let's swing it back up and around. Slain, it is your turn. You have just seen Zira take a good chunk out of this little critter who is trying to slash and bash at you.
And Phineas, Slain assumes that that he's going to just harm and hurt everybody. So that's why he starts gentle. But if Finium is not, if Finium is attacking them, then Slain is going to take the one in the bag and start hitting it against the ground.
Oh God, no! Wait. Before you do that, I'm going to enact. I am enacting clocks unwinding.
Calm down.
Absolutely not. So you can hear.
I never know what to expect of you guys.
Bad Jim. No. So there's this ticking in Shreg's dodecahedron, and Shreg's not holding it anymore. It's doing it on its own, and time kind of warps. I am imposing myself now. I am changing the order of initiative, and I am now first.
Nice.
So it is my turn.
Yay!
That that clockwork magic is awesome. The great machine. Yeah.
That is cool.
So no. So it's now my turn. Sorry. Having seen what the future was foretelling, not doing that, Shreg will cast Sleep again. And many of them are now less HP because you kind of all battered them a bit. So hopefully that poor one
few of them are a little bit
bag and all of the above. We'll see if more just go to sleep. So 23 worth of HP.
23. All right. So the one who was sort of wavering, the one who was wavering in the back is now also down. So you have two asleep in the back. And the one who was in front of Slain. Hold on, doing the mathing. You said it was 23 total?
23 total.
Right? 23 total. Okay, that took care of the one that's asleep. And then we have... So the one that was in front of Slain attacking him, that Zera took a good chunk out of, you see it too falls asleep. And then the one in the bag has seemed to have calmed down a good bit, but it is not fully asleep yet.
But
it probably wouldn't take too much.
Slain, don't hurt it!
It's not fighting as much. It seems to have lost its fight, but it's still, it's still kind of like growling a little bit in the bag.
Okay. All right. In that case, instead of like hurling it against the ground, if it gets is Slain. I guess I just go right after. I'll go right after Shrek. He's gonna attempt to do it. Right, like if he can punch it, he just doesn't want to kill it. He just wants to.
You want to knock it unconscious? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if you can knock it unconscious. Let's go with that.
All right. That's let's see, 18 plus. That's gonna be.
I know. We're all like Dawn. Yes, you'll be able to make contact. Dear God.
Right.
Oh my dear God. We're tenderizing
and I
folks.
will not. Yeah, I do not want to harm it. If I do, it's gonna be 5 damage. That'll take, but I don't want to. Please don't harm.
You don't want to knock.
I don't want to kill.
All right,
I
with
just
the
want to
5.
knock it unconscious.
Okay, with the 5, you are able to knock it unconscious. It sort of just slumps into the bag, and like its other 2 companions, it's fallen into this stupor. Not the full throttle sleep, thanks to Shreg, but it's in this stupor. It is not aware of what's going on. It's dazed and confused and slumped over. Okay?
Slumped over.
All right. Slumped over. Okay, so unconscious.
I'm good.
For in the bag. Okay, so that leaves us with 3 are still feisty. 4 are technically in sleep mode of some various form. Gervain, it is your turn. Mute it, darling. The talkie, but no, the sound. No. Sounds like no. Not muted? Oh. Wait, stop clicking. I'm hearing the clicking. Now talk. No. Oh, this is weird. Okay, so Gervain is stunned into silence. We'll come back to you. Gervain is stunned into silence by seeing Slain punching the onion in the bag. If you want to, Michael, just type in what it is you want to do, and we can play it out that way. Okay. I don't know what's going on with your mic. That's very bizarre. But type out what it is you want to do, and we'll handle it that way, and I'll just go through that. So while Michael is typing that in, that brings us to AOL. We are now to you. There's still 3 of these little chittering, hissing, biting, clawing suckers running around.
Okay.
All perfectly okay, too.
How close are these creatures?
There is one that is right next to Finium, that went on the attack, and there is one that is right on top of Maurice as well. So they are nearby. And then you have one that is a little bit further in the distance, probably about 15 feet away.
15. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to hit that. But
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and draw a bit of the Shadow Realm into the material plane and cast Darkness Calls.
Okay.
Maybe I can hit that. There we go.
Well, you're definitely in the shadows. Oh, blinded. Interesting.
7. Yes.
Okay, so this is just all the creatures within 10 feet of you, so that's going to be 2 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it has to be a DC of what?
It says Wisdom save.
One,
it doesn't
definitely.
say, so that should be against my spell save, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 13.
Okay, both fail. So both of these creatures fail. That means they now have disadvantage on their attack, correct? Because they're blinded?
Yes.
Lovely. So you have these 2 blinded, and you still have the one in the back, not harmed. Let me just make a note here. And that brings us to Finium. And Finium is going to shoot for the one in the back. And we'll see what he gets with this. All right, he absolutely makes contact, and ooh, very nice. He gets a good number of. You see him shoot this arrow, and it rings true, and you hear this, and this creature starts chittering in pain as he does a nice whopping 12 points piercing into the 3rd one that's off in the distance. And now it is their turn. The creature who is off in the distance is going to scramble its way towards Finium and attempt to attack him in retaliation. And he is going to hit, and he is going to do, he just got a crit on it, so he's going to do 8 plus 6 plus 2, so yeah, he's going to be doing 16 points of slashing against Finium. So Finium takes on some damage from this creature who has come up to him raging. Not barbarian raging, but not happy. And then the other 2, let's see here. There's one that is still next to Finium. He will miss, thanks to being blinded. And Maurice, yeah, definitely going to miss as well, because I don't think a 9's going to hit. And that brings us now to Zira. You have 2 on Finium, 1 is blinded, and 1 on Maurice, who is also blinded. What would you like, darling?
Can I run up to the one of them on Finium and try to just grapple it? Because I know Shrek doesn't want them killed.
Sure. Okay. So which one do you want? Do you want the one who's got an arrow sticking out of it and not looking so great? Or do you want the one who's blinded but full health?
I'll do the I'll do the one that's damaged. Okay.
I'll
do the one that's damaged.
Okay.
Oh, so, goodness gracious.
It got a 1.
Oh, I got a 2.
Well, guess what? by 1, you do manage to get it.
Oh, well, I'm just
It has
gonna
negative on its
hold on
strength.
to it.
Okay,
Oh.
so you have this other one. Okay, so this one is now grappled. Brings us back up to the top. Shreg, you have 0 holding on to 1. One is also, there's another one on Finium who is blinded. There is another one on Maurice who is blinded. The other 4 are asleep in some shape or form. What would you like to do with these things?
I burned all my spell slots. So I'm what can
You're tiptoeing away.
How about
Did you not factor in for the rest that you had in between?
Oh yeah, no, I have like
Because
no
you-
spell slots.
Oh geez, okay. Just making sure.
I guess I only have 2 unless I did maybe I did it wrong. I don't know. I've used them.
Okay.
I whatever one is close enough, that is just in Shreg's vicinity. I think Shreg will take out their mace and cast Mage Hand and run up to it and try to, like, everybody else is grappling. Why can't Shreg?
Y'all love your onion rings. Okay. So you're gonna try and grapple the blind one.
Like you do, yeah.
Like as you do. This
With
is
Mage Hand
jokes.
assisting.
You know those jokes about how you never know what your players are gonna do? Tonight.
Boom. Yep.
Oh, that's
you
strength
gotta be
athletics.
kidding me. I got another one, which with a -2 means he's in the negative. So you got 1 in the negative, so you got that one.
Can y'all hear me?
Just giving it a big old hug.
Hey, just now, Rifle, yo.
Okay, this is. We have 1 on Maurice, blind, who is not either grappled or sleeping, which is the state of all the others. And that is now Slain. It's your turn. What are you gonna do, darling?
All right. So that one, this last one's up. I'm gonna see if we can just punch it, and maybe that'll knock it out. Like, I don't want it. Like, I would try to kick it, but I don't want everybody to get upset at Slain. So.
Alternate way to cast sleep, that's all.
12 is what I got to hit.
12 just hits.
All right, and that would be 8. Hopefully not killing them damage.
Well, it is not killing it. It is still up on its feet, though, and it's not looking too happy that it has been hit upside the head by this large trollkin. Gervain, what would you like to do, seeing that
Can you hear
Slain
me?
has just punched a blind onion? Yes, we can hear you now. And your other thing was a
Sweet,
miss.
yeah.
What you had typed in there was a miss completely. So
Sweet. Me
what would you like to do with
and,
this one who's been...
I'm going to hit him with my spear with non-lethal damage, and I'm gonna roll to see if I can hit him.
Okie dokie, then.
Okay, so that is going to be, I believe that's going to be a 24 to hit.
That's gonna hit. That's absolutely gonna hit, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We have a hit.
And I'm going to do 1d6 plus 3. So that's going to be
Let's
6 damage, normal damage, and 1 necrotic damage.
Okay. So this
still up?
fellow is... It's still up, but it is definitely wavering on its feet, and it's sort of, in its blinded state, just sort of grasping and trying to get its footing, but not so well. Maurice, it is your turn.
Oh, no, I still got some stuff to do.
Oh, you
sorry.
have... Oh, I'm sorry, forgive me. So, Gervain, what would you like to do in your next motion?
Action surge, hit it again. That's
Non-lethally,
gonna be-
correct?
Yes. That's going to be a
Okay.
10 to hit. I don't think 10 hits.
The 10 is going to miss. So you whiff over its head
And
as
then-
it's stumbling around.
One from, what's his name? From Lil Zar. Right, hit. And
Oh, that's
gonna
right. Little
be-
Czar can jump in.
Yeah. That is gonna be
God, it's like a cat and
a
mouse.
17 to hit.
Oh, that'll hit.
Okay, with his claw, and
So-
it's gonna be a 1d4,
Okay.
and that's gonna be 4 non-lethal damage to kind of
4
claw it.
non-lethal damage. Okay, and he does have a second attack because this guy is still standing, but barely.
All right, another claw attack. That's gonna be unfortunately a 7 to hit.
7 is going to miss. So, Ewell, you see this one last little onion creature chomping its jaws blindly, claws reaching out for something. It's barely on its feet. What would you like to do?
Okay, it's blind. You can't see. I'm gonna try and grapple it with some rope.
Okay, sure, why not?
I'm gonna roll for that.
Strength
Oh
checks.
boy.
You roll a strength. I'm gonna roll a strength.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did we miss
11.
Maurice? 11? 11, you will not be able to do this. Maurice, I'm so sorry, I thought we had gotten to you. Maurice, we'll jump back up to you. What would you like to do? Saying Aowell trying to, at the same time as you're about to do something, Aowell is trying to tie this up but is unable to do so successfully. As it's able to somehow dodge out,
Equal damage.
even with disadvantage.
Bop
Yeah.
from the hammer. 9.
You're gonna
That's
mince
not gonna
the
work.
onion.
So
No.
out of
That'll win.
sheer. How badly do I want this thing to go to sleep here? We'll just hit it with the mace. This is the first weapon attack Maurice has made all game, and here it goes right now, I guess.
Oh man.
Yeah, again,
much
it's non-lethal damage. 13 to hit.
You'll hit. You'll hit, yeah.
All right. 4 bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, okay. So, you bop it on the head and it just basically collapses. It just falls down.
Sweet.
So now you have 2
So,
grapples.
this is what happens when Slane takes
5
us to
asleep.
Flavor Town.
Yes, this is what Flavor Town with onions. Onion flavored, folks. Hope you like them.
It's gonna make a
So-
fool out of him.
You see Finium just sort of standing there looking at the 6 of you with just this very perplexed look on his face. So we are not killing them, we are doing what?
But you said they were nice. You
Killing
said they were
them.
nice.
Shrek,
so I
Shrek
think-
said so.
Yeah.
Alright, so
I
we
mean,
are going
Shren-
to try and take care, like
And,
heal them? Is that what you are hoping?
I was hoping so. Yeah.
Okay, well then we need to start getting them contained. Let's tie them all up. We'll take them back to the village and see if there's something we can do with them.
Don't let
We'll
me
do
tie
that back
knots,
at the
okay?
Longhouse. So essentially, Finium will he'll get them lined up with you all, and you basically trust them all together because they're these small creatures. Very easily, you can take
I'll
all
put 'em
7
on
of them
top
and get
of-
them collected.
Little Czar. Yeah.
Sure. He's even gone to the point of making sure that they're gagged because of the biting that they have going on. So even if they should wake up, these fellows are very much corralled. And we are going to leave this with the 6 of you, along with Finium and Little Czar, heading back to the Longhouse with these variously either injured, sleeping, gagged and bound, turned Alliamites. And I have some shit to do this week.
Gypsophilia, I heard you like onions.
Next week.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel garlic.
Princess will be so happy to find demon-possessed spider onions.
Yes.
This is just you're heading. It's not even sunset. It's like almost mid-afternoon as you're walking back. So we shall find out next week what happens as our brave heroes return with 7 pissed off Alliamites who have some interesting issues going on with them. So yeah,
We'll get to the bottom
it's a
of
party.
this.
Oh my god, this is why I love playing with you all. I never know what you're gonna throw in my direction, and tonight is one of those what the fuck.
Yeah.
So, folks, thank you so much for sticking with us this long and seeing where this is going to go, because I did not expect to have a trussed up bunch of Alliumites going back to the Grove. Yeah, this is a thing. We're going to go in reverse order. Tell us about yourselves, tell us your favorite part, and where we can find you. Yeah, let's go with that. Starting with Jesse.
Oh, I didn't know where to start. My name is Jesse. You can find me on Twitter as @JesseNeon. The only thing I have going on at all right now is that my book is finally moving into production, so that should be out soon. Hooray! Besides that, oh my god. I don't even want to touch the onion nonsense, so I'm going to say that my favorite part was making up a new form on the spot for Maurice for his 6th domain, because you gotta praise them all.
Yes. Yes.
I think
Yes, absolutely. Praise them all, catch them all. No, I'm literally like. Okay, let's move along over to Stonefly Kai playing our lovely little Zira, who's
I'm
eating pie and hugging onions.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's what I do. It's what I do in real life. I'm Stonefly_Kai on pretty much all of the social medias. On Twitter, I am most active, and you can see what other streams I'm streaming on there. My favorite part tonight, I think, was the imagery of what Shreg was doing with the box. I think that was really, really cool. So, yep, that's everything in a nutshell, and I did decent, so yay!
There you go. All right, thank you so much. Jim, it's your turn, bud.
Hey, yeah, I had a great time. This last week, I had an adventure where players witnessed a massacre of a bunch of merfolk having a marathon, and they walked right by it because they wanted to win the marathon. So, who knows? Players will always fool you. They were like, we're not going to help these people out or investigate the thing. We got to win this marathon. So, there you go. Anyway, I had a great time. Love playing Slain, get back into it. I think, apart from just the banter and sort of like getting back into character, because just because we've had Gnome out for so long and Shreg's been missing, it was good to have that part. And I think it's also fun to just break the expectations of D&D. We're just sort of like, here's a big fight. What if we put him in a sack? And besides, we do want to talk to some of them, I think. And that's always fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, I am WebDM Jim. Yes, it is me, Sans Beard. And I hope you can check me out on Wednesday if it disturbs you, because like on YouTube, I still have a beard. Yeah, we will also be at PAX U as well. So we hope to see some fine folks there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, bumping it up to Torn Pixie playing AOL tonight.
Hey, I'm Torn Pixie. You can find me at Torn Pixie both here on Twitch and on TikTok, and then everywhere else it's at Torn Pixie Twitch. Favorite part? Trying not to hurt the little dudes and everyone else being like, no, we're hurting them. But they're little onion people. They're not normally like this. We can fix this, I'm sure. I'm sure someone here knows something. Do this.
Yeah. There you go.
Onion rings.
I know. I'm like with all the dicing and slicing and mincing and references. It's kind of like yeah. All right, Michael, it's on to you.
Can you guys hear me before I start?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Sweet. All right. So my name is Michael Sinclair II. You can find me at Michael Crits on Instagram and Twitter. Maybe I'll go to PAX U. That's up in the air. Gotta talk to the wifey. So I might see you folks there. We'll see. Yeah, favorite part of the night was stealing pie away from Zira. So that was awesome. Definitely a win there. And then Shreg's cool battle move where he just went around in initiative. That just blew my mind. That was just like
yeah, mind-blowing stuff right there. So that was my favorite part of the night. And other than that, not up to much other than continue to climb and like rock climb and do schoolwork. So there we go.
Nice. Perfect. All right. Shreg, as played by Gnome.
Yeah,
he's back.
So good to be back. I missed you all. This is just such a fun game in such a fun world. This was awesome. I like Maurice, just like all of the the theology stuff and the shifting and choosing to have your knees kick backwards. That was great.
That was sick,
but
in both
also
senses of the word. Yeah.
Yes, right? Props to the pie stuff. That was choice.
As it was. That was fantastic. That was so good. And then just if you want to remind everyone of the Kickstarter too.
Yes, absolutely. So we have a Kickstarter going on, and if you liked the cool and interesting magic-y things that happened today, I believe Slain did some very Midgard stuff. Shreg did some very Midgard world-based magic. Head on over to Kickstarter. We're going to post a link in the chat. We have a Kickstarter going on that is full of Midgard-style magic, but it's attuned for 5th edition. Take the magic, throw it into any setting that you want. It's a huge tome called Deep Magic, and it's got over 600 spells, plus subclasses, plus backgrounds, plus really weird familiars and other like arcane servant-type creatures that are there at your disposal. Perfect for new players who are looking to kind of expand on the magic that's provided in some general, game settings. Or for veteran players who are looking to mix something up. They might be kind of, used to a lot of the magic that is currently at their disposal. So check it out. It's technically already funded. We are trying to hit some stretch goals now. We almost have 2,000 backers, so definitely check it out.
Awesome, fantastic, and wonderful. And I am the Muse. I was your GM this evening, and I will be figuring things out for next week. I am very much looking forward to what's going to happen. We shall see. Do be sure to join us next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and hopefully we'll have the whole crew back again and figuring out what we're going to do with these freaking onions. You can find me over on my YouTube channel where I show you how to paint miniatures and make terrain. You can also find me here every Sunday as well as every Thursday over on Mini Terrain Domain as a player for the Dawnbringers. Lots of fun. And if you would like to come and meet up with some of us who will be at PAX Unplugged, I am right now hosting a giveaway where there will be 5 lucky winners who get a 3-day badge to PAX Unplugged. You will, however, be responsible for hotel and travel and getting there. I will just make sure that you end up getting a badge is basically how this works. Thank you to Stride PR for PAX. I'm going to put the link into the chat as well. You got to be in it to win it, so follow through and good luck to you. And I think that is pretty much it for this evening. My favorite part, not having this go in any way, shape, or form that I could have even anticipated. We're bagging onions. Okay.
Amazing.
So did not see that happening. So yeah, I have some creative thinking to do, which is always fantastic and wonderful and great. I don't mind at all. In fact, I love how you guys have shaped so much of this story with your contributions, and it's just fantastic being able to sit down and storytell every single Sunday. So hopefully you can join us all, and we'll see you next Sunday, and we'll see where we go with this crazy crew. Until then, take care of yourselves. Have a lovely week. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other, and we'll see you later. Take care, everyone.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Big hearts. Bye-bye.